Funny. Hi, everyone. It's me, A Shadowlink. I wasn't planning to be here today, but some things came up, so I'm your host again. Let me just make sure the. Ooh, that's not right. Let me fix the chat real quick, okay? Let me make sure you guys aren't stretched. And then I just need to make you all taller so that we can take use of the new screen space. So I'm gonna make it 900 pixels tall and hope that I'm right. I love it when it auto selects the wrong stream element. Fuck. Oh, fuck it. I'm going in. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So
We
with
be
us
heard
today, we have an extra guest. We have our good friend, Disney aficionado, Aiden, APC. Hello.
Yes.
Did Aiden Pacific Cypher, how does it feel to be joining us on Good Morning Source Gaming?
On this Good Morning Source Gaming
is he not there?
Yeah, he was there a second ago.
He was just here.
Oh, wow.
He's now got stage fright. now that the stream has started.
That's unfortunate.
Rip. Rest in peace.
His mic died.
Oh my god.
Well, for the rest of us here,
how unfortunate that during the Disney roster we have the most Looney Tunes ass timing.
Is it working now?
Yes, there we go. Now we can hear you.
Hello. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Aiden. Thank you for the intro. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Good to have you on.
Thank you.
So, yep, as you already know, Shadowlink is going to be hosting this one because of some fucky-wucky on my side. And but joining us as well, there's of course Creeks and Huff are both here. And then Spazzy was also going to be here, and he could not make it. Something last minute came up. So it would have been a full house. And because of that, we've done a slightly different approach this week than normal. Or at least for me, anyway. We've teamed up to create these rosters. So Spazzy and I worked together to create ours. And Aiden's done double duty, working with both Creeks and Huff.
Yeah, he did what I normally do and multitask.
Yeah.
Got my fingers in all of the pies.
So we've talked about this, and the order I believe that we're going to go is myself, then Creeks, then Huff. As for just the general rules for these rosters, obviously you might have seen from the thumbnail, this is a theoretical platform fighter, but with Disney characters. That's how we've approached it. We made the roster 36 characters because just looking at Disney's other crossover games, like that Disney Speedstorm, for example, that came out, the racing one, that's roughly how many characters they go for. I believe we sort of figured out an average and then what would work well for in like a set of 9. And so we went with 36. But we do have some DLC at the end that we decided to throw in. Because for the DLC, what we decided to do for this roster is that we would focus it more on Disney itself. So not Marvel, not LucasArts, not Fox. This is going to be Disney characters. But we wanted to include them a bit in some way. So the DLC, we opened it up to allow for stuff, but we won't spend that much time on DLC. It's more of an extra. So yeah. Were there any other rules that we had that I've forgotten before we just jump into this?
I think that was mostly it. I think that we just left it pretty open. I think our only rule was like focus more so on in-house Disney and Pixar and leave the acquisition characters and IPs for later.
Yeah.
I can't speak necessarily fully to yours or Creeks, but what me and Huff did was we also tried to like not include any characters where there would be potential legal issues.
Yeah.
Where,
We
like,
basically did the route of, if they are not 100% owned by this company, we're not even going to think about it.
or like they are licensed out, but like it's either public domain at this point or is nearly almost public domain.
Yeah, I think we have like 2 public domain characters, and one of them has been public domain for like half a year, and the other one has been since like the 1600s.
So, I mean, I don't think I thought me and Spazzy thought about it that hard on ours, as much as we just sort of looked at what we felt would work in a fighting game, what should be here, what sort of makes sense based on Disney's popularity, and what might make for fun movesets and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then that was our approach. But we tried to have a good balance on ours of. I guess that'll spoil some things if I say. So we'll go through it as we go through it. But I guess so I'll be starting. And thanks again to Shadowlink for hosting on this.
Okay.
So he's got them all up.
Real quick, I'm gonna put on some music. Chat, tell me if it's too loud.
Yep. Hey. Omega, you should be asking, where's Ichigo from classic Disney television show Bleach? Disney Plus anime.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I did look at the anime IPs that they did have because I wanted to do it because it would be funny. It's just they literally don't own any of them.
Yeah, they don't
own any of it. It would be like putting the Terminator on there because Fox used to own some of the movie licensing for that.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were first, right, Nantan?
Yep, I'm first.
Okay.
So we'll start off with the obvious number one.
Let's
Chuck
see if
him all
this
in there.
Worked out. Okay. Perfect spacing. Amazing.
Whoa, you love to see it.
Who could have seen this coming? Number
Whoa,
one.
yeah, big
Mickey
shocker
Mouse.
here.
I'm sorry,
Mickey
who?
Mouse.
Holy shit, Michael.
Ricky
Michael-
Rat.
He's here, and he's ready to brawl. He's ready to assert his dominance over everyone. Michael J. Mouse. Yeah, obviously Mickey's going to be here, and then the next 3 honestly aren't very surprising from that.
Should I just put them all in at once?
Yeah, just chuck them all in, yeah. Because I feel like these 4 are going to be in all of our rosters. They're like the Mario, Luigi, Peach, and I was going to say Toad, but he's not in Smash, so Yoshi of the game. You can't have a roster without him. So yeah,
Which one's
Mickey,
Yoshi?
we need. I'm gonna say it's Goofy because I've made it
Okay,
green.
Goofy, because we gotta cut Goofy.
Oh no!
Make a petition to cut Goofy.
No, don't do that. Give Goofy his own series icon instead. We'll say he's the Goof Troop franchise.
Yo, we'll say he's based.
But oh yeah, those are the 4 Mickey Mouse Clubhouse characters I put on this. Those are the only 4 Mickey Mouse Clubhouse characters I put in this. Oh, I should say we put in this because Spazzy and I did this together. So yeah, we can now go on to the next one as we start getting into the Disney movies. First up is Snow White. So, she's like obviously the first, and we wanted a Disney princess on it for starters, and she's obviously pretty important to Disney as the first animated Disney movie that they did. And she can fight like Olimar with like the 7 dwarfs and just follow behind her, and
Exactly the same. Have her
Exactly
just use them
the
as
same.
battering items.
Yeah. She just grows them up and throws them at people. It'd be great.
Throws them off a cliff to get a different one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want a dopey.
You can only have 3 dwarfs out at once.
Grumpy is
Our
not
region.
allowed. He is not meeting the allegations.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if dopey is a real dwarf. I just said a word.
He is. He's like him and Grumpy, I think, are like the most well-known ones.
I've never seen Snow White.
Dopey's the one without the beard, I'm pretty sure.
My vision for Snow White has always been that she's like Maria in Symphony of the Night, where she just has like legions of woodland critters. Just
Oh yeah, night as I was.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil. Snow White's on mine too, and when I thought I was maybe gonna be the only one that had her because I wasn't sure if anybody else had an idea for a moveset. I was gonna have Slink drag the icon onto the stream and just go, "Hey, do you guys like Maria Renard?"
sorry, Creeks did not mean to.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because we have the same brain cell.
True.
So next up, we got a more traditional, I guess, fighter. It's a Link. I mean Peter Pan. And yeah, I mean Peter Pan. He's like more of a floaty fighter, isn't he? Because of his ability to hover and stuff. Fights with a little dagger. You can include Tinkerbell as part of his moveset in various little ways. Yeah, Peter Pan just sort of makes sense to be on here, as does the next character on the roster as well. In fact, the next set of characters really feel nice, but we'll do them one in order, one after another. So put up number 7. Yep, Robin Hood.
Nice.
So Robin Hood's obviously a lot more as a older animated movie from Disney. It's one that's not as big as a lot of the others, but Robin Hood makes a lot of sense for a fighting game. I mean, again, another Link inspired choice. It just sort of works. You know, we'll also get one for the furries out there. Get that in the game as well. Which
You have 4 at the start.
And the next one as well. The next one will also be furry bait because we have Beast. I feel like Beast was like the first character I thought of for the roster after Mickey, of course.
Bro,
Like
Beast really hates Robin Hood.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Robin Hood's like aiming a bow and arrow at him. I'd be mad too. So yeah, we got Beast up in here. He just makes a lot of sense for a fighting
Out of the
game.
8 characters you have at the start, 6 of them are furries. I think this says a lot about you, buddy.
Well, the next one's not a
I
furry.
think it says a lot about Walt.
Yeah, true. The next
Wasn't
character's
even
not a
involved
furry.
for 2 of them.
Yeah,
So
but he enabled it.
But yeah, okay. You can put number 9 on. So Aladdin is Aladdin Red. We debated whether or not we wanted to have Aladdin or Genie in this, or both at one point. But we sort of decided on having Aladdin with Genie as like the side, so Genie would help for the specials, whereas Aladdin would work in the standard attacks.
Make it work like a Heritage from the Future character.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Genie is his stand.
Me and
pretty
Aiden
much.
actually brought up doing that exact thing where it's just he's just a persona or a stand or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Arsene, but not, Arsene.
Yeah, not bad.
Actually represents the source material.
So, next we got a good trio of characters. Put them up one at a time, though. So we got Simba. Got to have the Lion King out here. And Simba's like, he was technically the first quadruped on the roster. And, we really wanted to go with the Smash Brothers spirit. So if you could put the next one up, Shadow Link, we got young Simba. And he's Simba, but he's faster, he's a little weaker. And then if you could put the next one up, Slink, we've got non-Toon Simba. And to really round out the trio, he's a bit bigger because he's a real lion, and he's a bit tougher too.
I was really hoping you would have just used like you didn't even get a render from the movie. You just grabbed a random picture of a lion. Like you didn't even get the right species. You put a white tiger on there.
I mean, as far as I know, that's not from the movie. I just was like, yeah, I picked the first lion I saw when I typed Simba in.
The Animal Planet logo is just like plastered over it.
Oh shit! I should have added the elephant from the Animal Planet logo.
Wait, no, it's not Animal Planet. They own Nat Geo now.
Same thing.
Okay, yeah, no, you could take young Simba and non-Toon Simba. They're not actually part of the roster.
Cowardice.
It's true. But you can put the actual number 11 on there. We've got Mulan. Because Mulan's another one of those characters that I feel needs to be here. She's like the obvious female heroine character to be on the roster. So, included Mulan. next one as well is, I guess Lilo and Stitch isn't part of the Disney Renaissance, but it's close enough that I'm including them there. It's the last 2D animated protagonist on this roster for Disney. Stitch is a lightweight character. We wanted to try and balance heavy, light, and normal weight characters. And Stitch, as like more of a sci-fi character. I guess he could be a little like Fox, or a mix of Fox and Pikachu. Which would make him very top tier, I imagine. Alright, next character is another Disney princess. We've got Rapunzel. Tangled is obviously a big movie, and I feel like you'd have to figure out with Rapunzel's hair how it would work, given how long it is, but I feel like she's the obvious choice from that movie as opposed to like Flynn or the horse.
Simple. Make her bald.
I think in most like media where they add Rapunzel in the crossover, they just like braid her hair up and she kind of just unbraids it for attacks.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine she would be whipping people with her hair, or lassoing people with her hair, or like hitting people with frying pans.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I mean, they made a playable, or not playable, but a partner in Kingdom Hearts, so there's plenty of stuff to take from.
Otherwise, it'd be really funny if like every time you dash danced, you just like left hair behind you.
It's all a setup character.
If you fight a sortie, they can just cut it off, limiting your attacks.
Alright, next character is one that sort of has to be here for a video game. We've got Ralph. It seems like a really obvious one. We got another big guy next as well. Technically, Big Hero 6 is Marvel, but they treat it like it's a Disney animated movie. Like
it's barely Marvel at this point. Like they literally have not used those characters since the
Big Hero 6 movie.
100% certain on it, but I believe that Disney just outright bought Big Hero 6 out of Marvel. So it's no longer like eligible for Marvel stuff at all.
That wouldn't
surprise me. Be wrong on
me.
that, though.
Like, literally, Disney have done everything they can to make it when you think of Big Hero 6, you only think of the Disney. And
I've only ever
Marvel.
met a single human being that has ever referenced Big Hero 6 in the context of the original Marvel versions and not the Disney version, which is exclusively a Disney IP and has no relation to Marvel, and he is in the chat right now.
Wait, it wasn't me?
No, it was Omega J12.
I thought it was me. I did that too.
Continues to put Big Hero 6 characters on his MVC rosters.
But yeah, Baymax is here. So the next one then, another furry bait. Spazzy asked me to put it in the roster, so you can blame him for this one. Judy, it's another smaller, lightweight character. I haven't seen Zootopia in ages, so I'm actually not 100% sure what she can do, but she's a cop, so I'm sure she has a gun, so that can be used in the moveset.
Fun fact, when they added her to Disney Infinity, they gave her Liu Kane's bicycle kick from Mortal Kombat 1.
Perfect. She can have that here as well. So next up we got the villains. Put the Disney villains next to each other. And so the first one on this list is Elsa, because Let It Go completely... I hate that song now with a passion. So first villain up on the list.
Frozen has such a stranglehold on modern Disney that it is the villain of modern Disney and representation.
Next up, another Disney villain. Probably the most iconic Disney villain for gamers out there, thanks to Kingdom Hearts.
Yo, I love gaming.
Yeah. You gotta have Maleficent, I feel like, on all of these rosters. And then next up, we've got Ursula, who feels like the only Little Mermaid character that could work in this. Like, I don't, unless you pull Pokemon logic and just have Ariel float everywhere. I don't think that's really going to work. And who wants to play as the prince from Little Mermaid? That's like
there's one other option for the Little Mermaid that we brought up, and it's hilarious. I wanted to do Sebastian.
Sebastian.
You know what, Aiden? No, now that they did Ursula, can we just swap it?
Live action Sebastian. Go.
Look, I need a crab.
Literal crab.
I need a crab on the roster.
Listen, we can discuss it.
Parsonization wins again, baby.
I did see like
yeah.
one idea that somebody out there had that was like a really neat idea, but wasn't something I decided to go with, which was if you work with the interpretation that Triton is like Poseidon and can control the seas, he always has like a torrent of water underneath him so he can move around.
That's pretty cool.
Like Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah,
except
exactly.
instead of a torrent of water, it's just a bucket.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing this up because I saw somebody bring it up in chat. Aiden, doesn't somebody brought up Tarzan? Doesn't Tarzan have like some form of issue currently?
Yeah,
Tarzan is off limits.
there
Yes.
is some kind of issue where the estate for Edgar Rice Burroughs still has some control over the Tarzan license,
Mhm.
and they are less willing to work with Disney than other like characters that are licensed out. Like, for example, Winnie the Pooh is another one that just entered public domain, but the estate for A.A. Milne would always like let Disney use it because Pooh was like one of their big money makers. With Tarzan, there's some kind of restriction where Disney only can like use the characters they created, except for like very special occasions, like Once Upon a Studio had Tarzan in it.
Okay.
So it's weird.
Yeah, because I even I knew that was the case, that there was a problem with Tarzan and Disney.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's why we
why-
chose not to have any Tarzan stuff in this.
It's why Deep Jungle has never made it back in another Kingdom Hearts game, even when it's like
Yeah.
Melody of Memory.
Oh yeah, it's not even in Melody of Memory, is it? Damn, I didn't
Nope.
even realise that. Well, yeah, rip. But alright, next villain. Another iconic villain. We got Hades.
Hades.
Yeah, I think he's got to be here. And then the next character isn't a villain, but I mean he matches tonally with the others, so I put him next to him. It's Jack Skellington. He could be with the spooky gang right here. Technically, I mean, Disney own Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously, but it's not a Disney animation movie. It's kind of in a weird spot where it gets treated with the others, but it's not like made by the 2D animation team or 3D animation team now.
Creeks and Huff can back me up on this. I did a funny little project where I basically cross-examined every single like Disney crossover game and like looked to see like what was the most popular characters, who appeared the most,
Mhm.
and like you're gonna see Mickey, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. Jack Skellington is like one of the top 15.
Yeah, I
Which
figured
is-
he was really high, which is quite a surprise.
First non-Marvel, non-Star Wars Disney character. Well, non-Marvel, non-Lucasfilms, because Indiana Jones is in it too. But the first core Disney character in Fortnite.
True.
That's pretty funny. But okay, after Jack, we're moving on to Pixar. And we don't actually have many Pixar characters, but we do have Buzz. We debated whether or not to have Buzz or Woody or Rex. We also brought up Rex. And we went with Buzz because Buzz just has the most to work from. Like, he not only has the animated series, he also has the Lightyear, and then it's Toy Story 2 is obviously a game where you play as only Buzz throughout all of it. So, like, there's more there. He's much easier to make, like, a recovery for than Woody is. So we ended up going for Buzz instead. And if people haven't noticed this already, we've only done one character per franchise other than the Mickey Mouse Club. Just because there are so many different series that Disney owns, it's kind of hard to narrow it down with some of these. So that's why we decided to unintentionally but kind of intentionally have that rule in place.
Yeah, but you could have been very bold and kept young Simba. Honestly, I feel like that's actually not even that unrealistic, considering how heavily they still use like pre-time skip. I just said pre-time skip.
Pre-time skip like.
Lion King
I'm gonna shut up now.
The Simba war phase. Simba. School phase.
Okay, but that's what the movie's about.
It is. It's true. Yeah. All right. the next Pixar character and another member of the Green Gang. It's Mike Wazowski. He's I think Mike can do a lot more than Sully would be able to. I think he'd be a way more interesting character. So we've got Mike. We've got Mike in here, and that's it for Pixar. Honestly, that's all we've got. That's where we capped it off. Yep. We do have one more green guy though. He's coming up next.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. It's
Oh,
Kermit the
yo.
Frog. He's here. And yeah, he's the only Muppet we got on here. But like, I wouldn't have put Kermit in normally, but after we had that conversation back when we first started this, and he's in that Disney RPG game.
Please put the image on screen.
Do not worry. It will be supplied.
Okay, good.
Dark Kermit. So we decided, yeah, all right, let's put Kermit on here. Let's have Disney had the Muppets. It's been a part of their repertoire for ages now, so makes sense. It's not like Marvel and stuff. So yeah, Muppets. We got Disney on here. So now we move on to the Disney TV side of things, and it was something I wasn't sure what to do, but then I decided, forget it. I like the Disney TV side of things. Snazzy obviously really likes the Disney TV side of things, being a 80s kid. So we decided we were going to actually include them in this. And the first one should come as no surprise. It's Scrooge McDuck, who we've separated from the rest of the Mickey Mouse Club because he's obviously a DuckTales rep. So, and I figured for just the way the roster looks, it would make more sense to put him in front of all of the TV characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Scrooge up first. Then next is a character that Snazzy really wanted in here that I know nothing about because I've not seen the show. If you want to throw it in, it's Goliath from
Yeah, I had a
Gargoyles.
feeling it was going to be Goliath.
Yeah, I've not seen the show, so I can't really explain anything about it. But yeah, there he is, Goliath.
All you need to know is it's Keith David's voice.
Nice. All right, put the next one up. This one's another classic of Disney TV, but a bit not from the 80s era. We put Kim Possible in here. I think she'd provide a pretty fun moveset, being like more of a, obviously being a spy and a martial artist. So, yeah, got Kim in here. And then after Kim, we've got another spy, and one who I think's very popular. We've got Perry the Platypus. I think of all the TV characters, Perry's I feel like the one they push the most after Scrooge.
Yep.
So he made sense to have on here. Oh, did I get timed out? What?
No, Omega J12 did.
Oh, right. Okay. Then next up after Perry, we've got another Disney one. We've got Dipper and Mabel. I was debating whether to put Gravity Falls character in here, but Snazzy brought up the idea that they could work as an ice climbers type tag team. They'd have a recovery thanks to the grappling hook, and there's just things that they could pull from the whole series together. So it kind of made them stand out a bit. So I decided to have both of them in as a tag team like that. Plus, Gravity Falls is one of the better Disney TV shows they've done. So yeah,
I
Get
have
that
no
in.
strong feelings towards Gravity Falls whatsoever.
no, can't imagine why you would. And then, all right, the last one is the last TV character, and that's Star from Star Versus. We did debate thinking about an Owl House character, but neither of us had seen it, and we didn't know anything about it, and so we just sort of decided not to. But I wanted to put a Star character in here because I feel like if they were to ever do something properly with the Disney TV stuff, Star vs. the Forces of Evil just kind of works really well for moveset and setting and stuff like that. If they were to ever actually lean into the Disney TV stuff with Kingdom Hearts, for example, I feel like this is one of the TV shows that they would pull from for it, because it just really fits that series thematically. And so I decided to put Star in this roster as well.
Nancy, it's really funny you have Star on here. So, two of my friends, one of which is Aiden, that helped me on this roster, are really big fans of Amphibia and the Owl House, which seem to be
Yes.
very good shows. So, I was considering heavily putting Add or Lose on my roster, but they don't usually dip into Disney like TV animation very often. So, I felt like it would have to be like an exception. And I was like, okay, I could do it. But I feel like Star versus the Forces of Evil would have been like a prerequisite to either of those getting in. And I thought about it for like 5 seconds and I was like, I hate Star Butterfly. So I'm not doing it.
I can vouch. Star versus the Forces of Evil is a very polarizing Disney show. Because
my youngest brother used to watch it sometimes when it came on TV, and I caught some of the end of that show.
Yeah, the first 3 seasons are great. They're excellent. Fourth season completely.
Yeah. I see. So I watched Gravity Falls and Star at like around the same time. Because people tell me Gravity Falls was good, and I was like, oh, okay, damn, this is actually really good. And then I heard about Star also being good, so I watched that. So I quite like both of these series, and I still like The Forces of Evil, despite how atrociously bad its ending is.
Yeah.
Like season 4 is really bad, and that did make me like second guess myself about whether I wanted to include it on here. But I still think the stuff from the early seasons of that show is really good. And so if they just ignore the last part of it when they do stuff, then they can. And Star being a magical girl basically gives her a lot of to work from a moveset.
If it was even just like season 1 era magical girl Star Butterfly, I'd be all in on it.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking of when putting this in. But that ends off the TV ones. Yeah, again, Owl House and Amphibia, is it? I just don't. I've not seen either of those shows, so I don't. I don't really know what to do for them. So we end up just choosing to leave them out. But okay, next we've got some interesting ones that Snazzy really wanted on here. We have Henry Bear from the Country Bear Club Jamboree. He's the leader of them. He'll be not only is he a bear, so he's already pretty strong, but he could be our musical character. He could be our musical rep.
I didn't think that icon would get used at all by anyone, including myself. I just made it because I saw the icon and I was like, huh. I should probably make one for myself.
I am so glad I assumed I would have to make this, and then when I was looking through yours, I was like, oh wow, Aiden's already done Henry. It legit made me question whether or not one of you guys had picked Henry as well.
No, I'm a huge Disney Parks guy. I did not pick Henry because I can tell you, I can count the amount of times I've been to Disney Parks on 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've once seen the Country Bears Jamboree.
I definitely have seen it at least once, and I've only been to Disneyland like 3 times, I think. But I definitely remember seeing it when I was a little babby. So
I've been twice. I've seen it one of those times, but when I was a kid, we had the movie on DVD.
There's a movie?
Yes, there's a Country Bears live-action CGI hybrid movie.
About him becoming a country rock star.
Yes.
Fair enough. I guess more to pull from for this moveset than I realized.
You can make a Brother Bear and Echo, so I just do that so I can beat the shit out of them.
I feel like Baloo would probably make the more sense for an Echo, but we could have 2 Echoes. We could have Brother Bear and Baloo. It would,
but I just want to beat the shit out of the guy from Brother Bear.
You cannot make Joaquin Phoenix Bear hold a guitar.
But okay, Henry isn't the only theme park character we had on ours. Because the other character that Snazzy was adamant that we put on this roster is Figment. Who I didn't realize he is as small as he is. I thought he was a big dragon, but no, he's actually pretty small. Spyro the Dragon. Yes, dragon.
He is the elf.
Mm-hmm.
Animated little friend.
Yeah, the animated little friend.
But yeah, okay. Figment is also on here as the other theme park guy. And now to wrap off the base roster, we have the live action characters. Starting with the strongest character on the roster, Mary Poppins. Like, almost didn't put her on because it would be too busted. But, you know, I feel like with Arceus, where you only take a bit of it so that it's a bit fairer for all the other Pokemon trainers, Mary Poppins can hold back a bit in this game.
Yeah, I mean, why do you need to try when you're practically perfect in every way?
Exactly. But coming up after Mary Poppins is one of the live action I think people think about with this, and it's Tron. Tron Man. I don't know his name, so I'm just calling him Tron.
It's Tron.
Okay.
It's Tron.
It is just Tron. Yeah, it can do all supercomputer stuff, I guess. I actually haven't seen Tron. I only know it through Kingdom Hearts. So, but he has attacks in that game. They have the little chakram disc things that they throw. Final Smash can be him getting on the motorbike.
I definitely recommend Tron Legacy. It's a really good film.
Okay. And next up, we have another live-action character. What I'm curious if other people thought about. I didn't know about this till Snazzy brought it up, but when I read about it, I was like, this actually really works for a moveset, for a character. So, if you want to throw that up, Slink? It's the Rocketeer from the 1991 Rocketeer movie. He's a steampunk-looking superhero dude with a jetpack and a blaster. And he has, like, all the design elements that actually sort of would make him really easy to translate from a live-action character. Because that's something else I've been thinking about, which, even though because I just used Aiden's icons for these, they've got the actual characters, but I was thinking, if we include them in this game, we got to translate them from looking like a live-action character to actually fitting thematically with all the others. But the Rocketeer really works for that. It's just a really cool, neat design, and I know they've been trying to bring the Rocketeer back in recent years. They've had a sequel movie trying to be worked behind the scenes for quite a while now, I think. And they also made a Disney children's show on it, apparently.
I don't know why, but there's like a full sequel to the Rocketeer that's like a Disney Junior show about like a little girl who's the granddaughter, I think.
It's a very random IP to pick for Disney children's TV.
I actually watched The Rocketeer a few months ago for the first time because I watched it on a flight, and ever since then I've been very much a big fan of the character in this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've always thought it'd be really cool because it almost happened. I just want him to fight Captain America.
Well, you might get your chance on this roster. But first up, we have to get the last base character roster in here. And that's the other obvious live-action character. It's Jack Sparrow. Pirates of the Caribbean is so huge, obviously, so I feel like you have to have him here. And also gets a pirate in here. Like, I considered Captain Hook, for example, but I feel like Jack Sparrow makes more sense and gets more IP across. But that's the base roster. These are the 36 characters you would start off with. The ones we put the most thought into. So I'll quickly wrap this up by going through all the DLC. Not going to explain many of these, but just chuck them on to the end. We'll start with the boring ones. It's Marvel. We've got Captain America.
Hell yeah.
He can fight the Rocketeer. We've got Spider-Man, because obviously he's the big Marvel one, and Sony doesn't have the games. Doesn't technically have the games rights, just the film ones, and then Wolverine as well, for the same sort of reason. Honestly, didn't put much thought into the Marvel side of this. We're just like, yeah, these Spider-Man and Wolverine made sense, and then when looking through all the Avengers, Captain America was the one we settled on. It was going to be between him or Hulk, but was worried that Hulk would clash with other characters on here, like Ralph and Beast and Baymax and stuff.
Me and Huff were talking about it's so weird for the first time making a roster like this. There are too many like big body types to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a really big fear for me at the start because
usually when we make these rosters, like we have to go out of our ways to be like, hey guys, we don't have like a big heavy character. We need a big heavy character because that's like an important fighting game archetype to have. On the Disney roster, I pointed out immediately with Aiden, it's like we have like 4 to 5 big heavy characters. And we have like no zoners.
Yeah.
Look, all I gotta say is I'm disappointed you didn't pick hit Marvel character Dr. Bong.
No Dr. Bong on this roster, I'm afraid. Maybe if there was a fourth Marvel's DLC slot, but we only gave it a 3. Next up,
I
though,
want you to know I found out he exists because I literally googled worst Marvel characters.
See, if they own DC, we could have added Lord Deathman.
I would have loved that!
Dr. Bong versus Lord Deathman.
Come on, NetherRealm.
Okay.
So, listen to the fans.
Yeah. Well, this heavy character thing we're talking about is actually the reason why we don't have the Incredibles on here, because I was going to put Mr. Incredible on, and then realized again he clashes with Ralph, Baymax, and Beast. And I was like, that's a problem. He's because all he's got is super strength. So, yeah. All right, Lucasfilm's up next. So first up, we've got Indiana Jones. Pretty straightforward one. I think it'd be interesting in a fighting game. He's one of the big IPs from Lucasfilms, with the other one obviously being Star Wars.
Fortnite!
Which is what we've got coming up next with Darth Vader. If you're going to have a Star Wars character, I feel like Darth Vader is the one to go for. And then to follow this one, we had a small green mentor type figure that we thought would work really well on the fighting game roster, especially paired next to Darth Vader. So if you put him on here, I'm of course talking about Willow from Willow, the classic movie turned TV series turned cancelled TV series from Disney Plus.
I was really hoping Snazzy would force you to put on like LeChuck or Manny.
We got Willow. He forced me to put on Willow, so he got one.
Snazzy, my brother, why? Why did you fail me?
All right, so those are the Lucasfilms ones. So next up, we got the Fox ones. So we went for Bart Simpson. Initially thought Homer Simpson, but then thought Bart might actually fit one of these better. Get Bart Mania back, so we got like more to pull from movesets. Also,
we had the same idea with that because Bart just has more going on for moveset potential, and he just fits better.
Yeah, he does. So Bart Simpson was the first obvious choice. Then next up, we've got, if you want to throw that on there, we got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is apparently owned by Disney. So because of through Fox, and thought that would be a good character to have on here. A good another girl for the roster, a pretty interesting one as well. From the TV show Buffy, obviously not the reboot Buffy or the old or the original film Buffy.
Somebody in the chat said if I unlocked Willow, I'd delete the game. Don't worry, we're in the DLC. You have to pay real world money for Willow.
I'm just bringing this up because me and Aiden actually did research into Buffy because we considered doing it. I believe we found out that Disney doesn't own it.
See, that's interesting because Snazzy researched into it to check this beforehand, and he seemed to come to the conclusion that they do own Buffy.
I gotta double check it because Huff and I got into a long discussion because we got on our larger roster we got into a lot of Fox stuff because we just thought that was the most interesting.
Yeah, we brought up a lot of Fox ideas. Like another one that we brought up was doing Mulder or Scully from the X-Files. Just because.
Yeah, last night I was just looking through X-Files stuff, being like, "Hey, what can I use for one of the DLC characters?"
Yeah, I personally think like X-Files is like the second most important Fox property for TV specifically.
No, 20th Century fully owns Buffy, so we're good.
Yeah.
Bro, why didn't you... Well, you couldn't find this out earlier? I brought him up earlier. Oh, the God!
I thought we discussed it. I'm sorry.
We did. I asked you like 4 times to check it. You said, oh yeah, they don't own it.
I literally messaged you saying, did we figure out if Buffy was Fox or not?
I'm glad I could come in here and solve this conflict.
Kind of funny.
Well, 10 for destroying our friendship.
Hey, Nanten, I'm gonna post something in the chat. This is my reaction to finding this out, okay?
Beautiful.
Nandanjas.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So this next slot, I am making a petition to you.
Okay.
Can we use the slot that says it's only for the stream on the final roster, please.
Okay, sure. I don't mind. We can do this. Obviously, the other big Fox property we have to have on here is Avatar. But I don't remember who he is. So
His name is Jake.
So we just called him Jimmy.
His name is Jake Sully, which I remember because it's a really funny name.
No, the reason why you remember it is because I constantly say Avatar is so like unimpactful. Does anybody know the name of the fucker from Avatar? And then you only remember it to fuck with me. Every time we bring up Avatar, we have this discussion.
Jake Sully's a really funny name.
It's a generic white guy name.
It's
That's what makes it funny.
Literally, we were chatting about it yesterday, and it was like, "Oh, we have to have an Avatar character on here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what's the main character from Avatar called?" And neither of us could think of it. So we're just like, Timmy. Timmy's fine.
This is the most passionate discussion about Avatar I've heard since the movie released.
This
In the chat said you say that like Creek's real name isn't more generic.
You know what? You're right. This reminds me when we were talking about doing we brought up doing a Predator because we thought it would be funny. And we wanted to do a name aside from Predator, so we brought up the idea of doing John Yaucha.
John Yaucha.
Dude, so with the Fox stuff, I limited myself to things that I thought that Disney would be all right with, like intermingling with their main IP. Which really hurt me because I was deciding my Fox characters for the DLC last night on call with my buddy Vsauce while I was playing through Xenoblade 3. And I just kept going, dude, if I wasn't worried about ratings, I would have a Xenomorph on here. And we just wouldn't be having this conversation because I would have a Xenomorph on here.
Enough.
I mean, we actually thought this as well, but we were going to do the Pred aliens so we could have both of them as well.
Oh, that would have been funny.
That's really funny.
Funny enough, unironically, aside from like maybe Avatar, Alien is probably the Fox franchise that Disney has the most ties to.
Yeah, they almost had a theme park ride based on it.
Yeah.
The alien encounter in Tomorrowland that got replaced with the Stitch ride was going to be a Xenomorph.
And it's also in the Great Movie Ride.
Yep, which is now a Mickey Mouse Dark Ride.
Full transparency here.
Wait, they replaced it when?
Like, right before the pandemic.
Oh my god, where?
In Hollywood Studios. The Great Movie Ride isn't there anymore.
That sucks.
No, there was a big deal about it. It's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway now, which is a trackless dark ride. And it's an okay trackless dark ride.
Okay, full transparency here. The Xenomorph was one of the characters we had in our roster. We dropped them last minute to add somebody else.
Okay.
The reason why we had them was because, hey, wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if we put her in with the other Disney princesses?
Based Anastasia.
Yes. Hell yeah. Alright, we got 3 more characters. So the last 3 are more just like kind of random last minute ones that we sort of thought about and wanted to have on here.
Speaking of Disney princesses.
Yep. There is the only super heavyweight on the roster. Bigger than every other character, heavier than every other character.
Oh, okay, so you guys
literal
didn't stick,
mammoth.
you guys didn't stick with like 3 per Marvel, Fox, Lucasfilms.
Well, yeah, we stuck per 3, but we didn't for the last 3 because it got bumped up to 12. We were just like, let's put in characters that we wanted or had thought about for the base roster and just didn't.
Yeah, when we decided we were doing 12 DLC instead of 3, I just went back to like Disney Pixar.
The other 2 are Disney characters, to be fair, but Manny, we were like, what do we have last? And then Snazzy was just like, why don't we have Manny from Ice Age?
The 3 I chose were the ones that I had to cut from the base game, so it was really easy for me.
Yeah, well, one of the characters we had on here is one that we had to cut from the base game. It's the last one, but the next one is a character Snazzy really, really wanted, and I kept hesitating, and I finally let him have it for DLC. So it's Captain EO.
Yes.
It's DLC because you got to pay the Jackson estate to get the likeness for the character. That's the justification we're using.
Ooh, you could have picked him from The Simpsons too, and had 2 Michael Jacksons.
That episode's not canon. It doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't.
So
We
yeah,
removed it.
Should I talk about
Deleted.
the live action guest star that we had to cut from ours because of legal stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to do another fun one that was kind of in the same vein as Captain EO.
Mhm.
We wanted to do Bill Nye the Science Guy. Because that original show was fully owned by Disney and like created
Okay.
by problem is there's currently an ongoing feud between Disney and Bill Nye over what's the word I'm looking for?
His rights, the rights to him.
Royalties.
For money.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, he wouldn't be making it on then. That's a shame.
I brought up the idea of instead transitioning it to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and one of his costumes is just Bill Nye, like, Mortal Kombated over Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
That's a good idea. All right, and then the last character we've got is one I really wanted for the base roster and just didn't get a chance to include. It's Oswald.
my boy.
Just chuck him in there. Like he was him and Pete actually were both on the roster for a while. And
Same.
then we ended up dropping both of them.
Same.
Which,
Same. We literally did the same thing.
yeah, Snazzy just dropping into
I
our
think
chat to
we
say we should have done
all-
Aerosmith.
I think we all considered like both Pete and Oswald.
hmm Like going back to my Mario analogy, Pete's being like the Bowser. It was just like, yeah, he should be here. But then when thinking about it, with how many other series we had to cover, and I was just like, yeah, Pete's not that.
Yeah,
Not
Disney
that
just owns too
big.
much shit, man.
Yeah.
The
But-
chat changed their name to. Oh, that's the actual Papagenos.
Hey, afraid there's no Gino here, Papa Genos.
When discussing Mickey villains, I've always thought Pete was kind of the default generic option. Not that he doesn't have potential, but like
Hmm.
I
mean,
just
you could do the professor or the mad scientist, even call him. the
my
professor.
pick was always dipping into silly symphonies, doing the Big Bad Wolf.
Okay. Okay. Who? I guess there we go. There's Gino. Gino from something. I don't know what.
That's
That's
Gino from
Fortnite.
Fortnite, the main
got
antagonist.
it. There he is. But yeah, okay. That's my roster done.
Wait, not yet. There needs to be a last minute addition. I'm sending it to Slink right now, okay?
Okay.
If it's using the wrong font, I'm not putting it on screen.
Oh, come on!
Should have thought about that. Should have thought about it before you
Should've thought
changed.
about
No, Slink, trust me, you need to do it. You need to do it.
Alright,
I'm okay with spoiling what we did earlier, okay?
okay.
I found out that there's a character named that.
Alright, okay.
Okay, what is this?
We got him.
Oh, okay.
Got him.
There's the true Disney Gino.
I forgot that Bambi's son is named Gino.
I got you, Papa. I got you.
I didn't know
Oh
Bambi
my
had a son.
Yeah, they let
Literally,
Bambi fuck, apparently.
Aiden, do you want to tell them about how I was like, at some point, I popped into your DMs last week and I
Yes.
was like, wouldn't it be really funny if we added Bambi's dad?
And I replied with, don't you mean the Great Prince of the Forest?
Great Prince of the Forest.
Voiced by Patrick Stewart.
I accidentally
that was-
hovered over the button that gets rid of every window on my fucking computer.
Nice. Just reveal your wallpaper to
It's
the
like
world.
it's like every stream happens once at least.
You got to change up your wallpaper then every week so we can get a different,
True.
different frame blink.
True.
Snazzy, you're my goat. We brought up doing Herbie, and we also brought up doing Airbud and the Shaggy Dog.
We talked about Airbud as well on us. Well, I said Snazzy could have either Captain EO or Herbie. He can have one of the two.
Herbie is only funny if it's just Herbie and you don't do a Cars character.
Yeah, no, it would just be Herbie. It'd be the other super heavyweight along with Manny.
That's
Who
okay.
wins?
Lightning McQueen, due to recent events, is no longer allowed to be on the roster.
Rip lightning.
Such a bright career.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
Shall we move on to the next roster?
Yes, let's do it. It's Creeks, I believe.
All right.
It's great.
Yeah, it's me next.
Mhm.
If it'll load the plugin.
You're just gonna have to watch mine for my roster for the rest of it now.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
hijacking this stream.
What?
Yeah, that's right. It's time for the secret 4th roster.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, so I decided last minute I'm making a roster
Oh
for
boy.
this stream. So I thought very carefully about my choices, and you know, first off, we gotta go with the most important Disney character, Goofy.
Good. That's it. You can just end your roster there
No,
now, Slink,
next
and
up
then
we
you're
got
done.
Donald. Now, Snow White's a very important movie, but I don't think Snow White should fight. It's kind of against her character.
Did
So
you pick the mirror?
I have decided to include instead Grumpy from Snow White. He can't beat the allegations, but this is him
can't
doing
beat Donald
community
Duck.
time. This is him doing community time, and he will beat up the dog and the duck. Okay, next character. We got Captain Hook from Peter Pan. I decided against doing Peter Pan, but no. Hook's my man. I gotta put him here. Next up, we got
Next up.
Maleficent. Sleeping Beauty.
Good. Getting all the villains out. Good to see.
Next up, we got a bit of an obscure pick. Shaggy Dog. No, wait.
Ah,
hold
nice,
on.
nice.
Hold on. No,
With eyes like that, we're still getting all the villains out.
That's Tim Allen. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there we go. We got the Shaggy Dog. Next up,
Jesus.
I wanted to do Winnie the Pooh. I know it's public domain now, but I gotta include my main man, Eeyore. I hope he's doing
Yep.
okay. So next up, I'm actually a huge fan of this movie. I adore this movie. I love its soundtrack. I love all of the characters in it. But I do
That's right,
think
Shrek.
that Mary Poppins herself would be a little too overpowered. So instead, I'm including Bert,
Oh boy,
the
Bert.
chimney
He can-
sweep.
He can take everyone out with his terrible London accent.
Dick Van Dyke, love him.
I am.
Cockney was a mistake. Okay, next up, I am going straight to the Renaissance. We're including Aladdin.
Bold pick. Boldest pick so far.
Now, I agree. He should be a stand fighter. I think that's kind of based. Oh, hold on, wait 1 second. Yeah, I can't even do this right. I'm also including Beast. Very important character. I actually adore Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. Aladdin is one of my favorites too. And this one's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I love this movie. I think conceptually it is an amazing movie, but it just really misses the execution. But I adore the soundtrack and the visuals. So I wanted to make sure it's here. I felt really wrong about putting oh my god, I'm saying it's one of my favorite movies, and I forgot the
You've forgotten what the movie
Quasimodo.
is.
Quasimodo. I felt really weird about putting Quasimodo here. And you know, Frollo's not a fighter, so I thought this would be kind of fun. So I'm including Esmeralda as a sort of dance fighter.
That is a genuinely, like, that's something that I've considered as, like, really fun.
Actual
Okay.
real pick? Whoa.
I'm not a huge fan of the movie Hercules, but I do love its villain, and so Hades is here. I think he is like a lot of fun. And one of my favorite Disney movies. We got Mulan. Sorry, dropped something. Mulan's great. I had to redraw this like this morning because our slot was super crusty for Mulan. So that's it. I drew that.
Nice.
All right,
Good,
again,
good.
one of my favorite Disney movies. We got Dinosaur from the movie Dinosaur.
Nice. Very generic. Very anyone can sort of see themselves as it.
Slink, I already made an Aladar icon. Why didn't you just use it?
I saw it said Aladar on it, and I thought that wasn't very funny. So he's Dinosaur.
True,
He
doesn't
always
have
be
a name.
Dinosaur to me.
Dinosaur from
Okay.
Dinosaur.
That's our
no-
parks rep. He's from the ride.
Another
Not for
guilty
long.
pleasure for me. I am including Jack Frost from the Santa Claus 3.
Okay. Slink, I know that you're doing a bit right now. I need you to know I actually considered this.
Creeks,
well,
I
no.
know that you're telling the truth right now, but I want you to know we also considered it.
I want you to know that Snazzy and I considered just Santa Claus, Tim Allen's Santa Claus on our roster.
We brought it up, but then we
Yes, no.
remembered if we're representing Tim Allen, it has to be Tim the Toolman Taylor, which they also own, by the way.
No
Nice.
Buzz is on the roster, right?
That's Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could just have a roster of nothing but characters Tim Allen plays.
Hey, I said after this I wanted to make a roster of just bad fathers that Disney owns, and Al Bundy would be there.
Every time you take damage in the Tim Allen pet profile, he goes,
What?
Okay. Next up, I actually really like The Incredibles. So I got like a lot of big characters on here already, and more to come. So Mr. Incredible, couldn't do him. I don't want to do anyone else from the Incredibles family. But I am including Frozone because he's
Damn it,
kind
I was
of
hoping you'd do the giant robot.
Nice. He's got his super suit ready.
Why isn't it capitalized?
more importantly, why is it in Comic Sans and why is it a Halloween costume?
That's Frozone, man. What are you saying?
All right. So I don't actually have that much representation for Disney cartoons, but I do really love Phineas and Ferb, and there's one character specifically that I love the most in Phineas and Ferb, and that's Dr. Doofenshmirtz. But I can't include him here. He's too overpowered. He would just win by accident. So I am including his arch nemesis.
A platypus?
Platypus?
That's kind of a weird pick. Perry the platypus!
Hey, the platypus!
Larry the platypus?
I don't even know if that picked up or even was a good.
Picked up enough.
That would
up
Peter.
enough.
That was a good setup.
I don't even know if that worked.
Okay. So I like half like Tangled. I like Tangled. I don't think it's amazing, but it's a pretty good movie. But Rapunzel feels not plausible for this kind of game, so instead I went with Flynn Rider. He's funny.
Arguments.
He's funny.
He is funny.
For a moment, I thought you were just gonna do Flynn from Shin Megami Tensei.
Okay. And I also have Baymax here from Big Hero 6.
Nice.
Next up, I got Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
We had Dwayne The Rock Johnson twice on our roster and cut both of them.
Sling checker DMs.
Okay. I'm just gonna show this to the class.
I think I kind of killed them.
Cursed.
I want it to be known I did not put effort into making that. It took me 5 seconds.
Oh my god.
That's why it looks like shit.
I've also been told to put another slot on the screen. This is apparently a deleted character from Lightyear, so I'm not gonna keep them because they don't
Cuts.
exist. But
Mhm.
here's Polly from Lightyear.
Taste
Anyway,
your disappointment.
I'm sorry. So I
You're not.
decided to do the Fox representation a little early. And so I'm actually I really love the early seasons of The Simpsons, and also the two most recent seasons have been have had some amazing episodes.
Let's go, truth teller.
They're really coming back with it. However, I don't want to put Homer Simpson on here. I think he's too irresponsible, too childish. So instead, I'm gonna need to put on somebody who's capable, intelligent. I'm including Frank
Grimes, you fake fan!
I know his full name.
Then why didn't you say it?
I forgot. My tongue got tied. Frank Grimes moment. Okay, so this is a bit of a segue for me. I've pushed back this character from where they probably should be on the roster to here because it's more natural. So this is Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Breaks the Internet. And so I put him here so I can segue into some video game characters. So first up, we've got Jack Skellington from the Capcom Nightmare Before Christmas game. As anybody familiar with that game knows, he only has one attack. That's right, Soul Robber.
Soul Robber!
And then next up, I'm gonna dip in the Marvel for a bit. I'm also including Ghost Rider from the Marvel Ghost Rider PS2 game.
Good.
And finally,
Excellent choice.
of course, we gotta include Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Who?
So, I kind of felt like it would be, not right to include Sora without, his best friend, his life partner. So, I included Riku.
Nice.
And,
yeah.
I kind of feel like there should be some more popular
I
Kingdom
already-
Hearts characters.
Oh
So,
no!
I included Xemnas,
I already know where this.
Zaldin, Vex,
And
Lexius.
Lexius.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on
Zexion.
Dancer.
Science, Axel.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
Demix, Luxord, Marluxia,
Good.
Larzine,
Easy to breeze.
Roxas, Xion.
Oh.
Xehanort. Gotta include Xehanort.
Yeah, gotta have Xehanort. You can't have all of them and not have
Ansem,
Xehanort.
Seeker of Darkness, Terra Xehanort,
Mm-hmm.
Dark Riku,
Mm-hmm.
Vanitas,
Slink, check your DMs.
Young Xehanort,
Good. I was
the
hoping young
Master of
Xehanort would be
Masters,
here.
and the
Mhm.
most important character. I know people have been waiting for him. People probably realized I didn't start with him for a reason. That's right,
Mhm.
King Mickey.
Perfect.
Slink, I would like to make an addendum. You have young Xehanort, not Toon Xehanort. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a good point. Where's Toon Xehanort?
They're different characters.
Also,
Yeah.
Slink, you spelled Ralph wrong, so I sent you a new icon if you want to put that on there.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Great stuff. Okay, with that intermission over.
I want you to know I started knowing I was going to do the bottom half of this, and I was like, all right, I've got to make somewhat of a real roster. I need to pick 23 more characters. And I did.
You did, well done. And you got some excellent choices. Alright, Creeks, you're up.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
1 second, hold on.
I need that platypus reveal clipped at some point. It was too good. Well, while we're waiting, Snazzy wanted me to bring up the fact that he also wanted Darkwing Duck on the roster and did not get in. As well as Don Knotts from the Apple Dumpling Gang, now streaming on Disney Plus.
Yo,
You can
Don
go watch
Knotts from
that,
the
yeah.
Apple Dumpling
Yeah.
game streaming
Yeah,
now on
that's
Disney
right.
Plus.
One second. I'm
That's
just
right.
looking
Don
at my
Knotts
notes.
from Apple Dumpling Gang, which is now streaming on Disney Plus.
True. I appear to have lost some of them to the darkness. Let's
Door to
hear.
darkness.
Speaking of the door to darkness, okay, can you drag on the first?
Oh, boy.
That's right. The door to darkness.
The first,
Door to Darkness is the first.
Do you want me to just drag on the first 3 slots?
Yeah, just go ahead, drag on the first 3.
Oh boy, it's Mickey. Who'da thunk?
So
Oh.
it was really funny earlier when Nantin started going off about, yeah, I feel like all of us like need to have Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy by default, and I was like, oh, I don't have Minnie because I thought she'd be too similar. I was avoiding doing like characters that I thought could realistically be like semi-clones because I wanted to leave it. Disney doesn't have a lot of options for Echo Fighters, quote unquote, but I wanted to leave that up like for potentially last minute inclusions, and I just wanted to focus on stuff that I had a solid idea for a moveset for. So all of the picks that you were about to see are here in some regard because I had an idea for how they could play. If I didn't have an idea, I didn't do it, with one exception I'll get to later.
Okay.
Starting with number 4. Just getting him out of the way with the other ones. Yeah, Scrooge represents DuckTales.
Scrooge.
He's got the cane. He's got, you know, a lot of funny stuff to work with. Very popular character. Then we have number 5. A lot of the Disney animated canon ones that are coming up are in like more or less chronological order. I kind of just eyeballed it rather than doing real research on the dates, but let's see. Yeah, no. Next we have like 5, and I feel like you can probably just drag out like 6 too, since we already talked about 5. You know, Maria Renard Snow White is just the concept that me and Aiden were working with. Number 6 is an interesting one because it's like I think the first one that I have that Nantin didn't. This one is, you have to stretch just a little bit for this to work, but they've done it before. I feel like just a little bit of sizing up, and then this character has theoretically limitless potential. I felt like this character needed to be here in some major capacity because I think Belle is like Disney's biggest mascot after Mickey.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I agree. So I had that as part of Peter Pan's moveset. Because
I don't know if you guys have seen Mirrorverse, but what they did in that game, because it has like weird RPG fantasy redesigns. They let her astral project, which is really funny. Not necessarily what I would do, but yeah. Speaking of magic, we have number 7. Very obvious, iconic, classic villain. Already been in plenty of video games. Easy moveset. Then we have number 8. Yeah, we got my boy Baloo. So Jungle Book has been one of my favorite, you know, animated movies since I was a young kid because my dad grew up with it. I grew up with it, and I really like Baloo as a character. But I wanted to incorporate elements of both, like what he does in Jungle Book and what he does in Tailspin. Into his moveset, and I figured it would be a lot easier to like use the Tailspin design as a base and give him Jungle Book stuff from there, like throwing food or throwing fruit and just doing like bear stuff, I guess, just dancing around. Be a lot easier to incorporate that into the pilot outfit than incorporate pilot stuff into a bear moveset.
Yeah, makes sense.
So then number 9, I actually thought I was being a little unique with number 9. Yeah, just like another one of those, like my dad watched it when he was a kid, so I watched it when I was a kid. Something I don't think we brought up last time, represents the 70s. It's like the only character here from the 70s. It's like part of the era between when Walt died in Little Mermaid, which is this weird gray area for the history of Disney. And then number 10, we are, you can see we are not just restricting what's up next to the animated canon. We are just kind of throwing anything that is quote-unquote main Disney in order. Because our number 10 is...
Tron.
That's him! That's Tron from Kingdom Hearts 2!
Yeah.
Rinsler.
That is... I was about to experience an out-of-body experience just 'cause I'm working as like a substitute teacher right now. I've heard the phrase Rizzler so much that I was about to just self-destruct until I remembered, oh right, he is called Rinsler.
No, yeah.
Why did they do that? I know that was like before, but like it's such a funny name.
Daft Punk.
True. I was considering for a while I was really considering doing Korra instead of Tron, but I felt like if I'm doing Tron, it probably has to be Tron because it's also the only thing from the 80s that I have on the roster.
And what's more 80s than Tron?
Yeah, I exactly. I think you said that to me when we were talking about, like when I was talking about doing Korra instead. So yeah, then 11 and 12, I probably don't need to say much about either. Yeah, both these movies need to be represented. These are the obvious choices for that movie. Ursula works like really well in one of these because unlike all of the other Little Mermaid characters, she can actually move on land because octopi can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, another thing that we kind of talked about earlier, and we've been sharing a lot of creative ideas that we've had on these, is number 13. So Heritage to the Future was mentioned earlier. I leaned all in on that to the extent that it's like part of his icon. I wanted to go kind of like how he's depicted in Mirrorverse and Kingdom Hearts. Aladdin is like a speedster, like he's a light, fragile rushdown character like Sheik, but his kill moves are slow setup specials with Genie that function kind of like Zelda's down special. So he's a weird like puppet character. Probably would be very toxic, but would be very fun. Number 14. Yeah, Mulan. I feel like every roster, Huff has brought this up in the past on previous rosters, but every roster kind of needs like a standard swordsman that doesn't have too much like else going on. It has like a very understandable, like easy for beginners sword moveset. I feel like Mulan fits that really well, but if you wanted to give her like a projectile or something, or just like a little bit of extra sauce for the specials, you can incorporate Mushu with like fire breath or something like that to give her like fireball projectile or something for a recovery.
Holy shit, is that Eddie Murphy from Shrek?
True, that is Eddie Murphy. Then we have 15, 16 probably going to be, like, again, we talked about a lot of these on the previous roster, so we can just kind of blow over them.
Yeah.
Hades, pyrokinetic, he manipulates, wispy shadows, would be a lot of fun. Simba is a lion.
Yep. Yes, he,
like what more
yes, he is.
he really just is a lion. Something we talked about that would be really funny is, so like the roars in Lion King are, I think, just heavily implied, if not stated, to just have like supernatural properties. So obviously his neutral special would probably be a roar. Having that deflect projectiles would be hilarious. It's like a big wind box. Somebody's trying to recover, you just roar on like the ledge.
It just pushes them back or blocks any incoming attack.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that Simba's ledge game needs to be weak.
True. So I think this movie actually came out before Lion King, but I wanted to keep all the Renaissance stuff together. We're pushing out of the Renaissance now, and we are getting into like the late 90s, early 2000s Disney content.
Okay.
Number 17.
Home on the Range.
Of course, Jack. The Pumpkin King. He's got Soul Robber. I actually think it would be really fun if Soul Robber was a part of his moveset. A lot of, the pumpkin fire thing is something that a lot of the video game adaptations tend to lean into, making him kind of like a black mage, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like, just very, very tall character lends itself to a very interesting moveset in general because very long-reaching, lanky normals. And then you have the polar opposite of that with character number 18.
Creeks, real quick. I find it hilarious that you say that Simba is like in the Renaissance and like Jack is out of order. Yeah, you're right. He is out of order. He's older than Mulan and Hades too.
Oh, God, he's that old?
He's 93, bro.
I keep thinking that he's from like 96.
Yeah,
like
Aladdin is barely older than him.
That's crazy. I keep forgetting how early in the 90s Nightmare Before Christmas is because it feels so late 90s to me. No. So like, just keep it. I want to, like I said, I intentionally left him on the next row because I want to keep the Renaissance stuff together because
Jack is
Jack is not
different
considered
fella.
a part of it because he was a Touchstone film.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hot
Oh,
Topic.
I was just gonna
Jack.
put Simba before Mulan.
Oh wait, is Simba before Mulan?
Yeah, 94.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lion
Oh,
King's
God.
before
Okay, yeah.
Mulan.
Like I said, I just kind of eyeballed a lot of this, so
I think I'm pretty sure Hades was or Hercules was before Mulan too, because that was 97 and Mulan was 98. But like, it's just order on a roster.
Was it?
yeah.
Yeah, my roster was mostly in release order. So Lion King comes after Aladdin and then before Mulan.
Yeah, like I
then
said,
Hercules
mostly
at the
just like
end.
eyeballing this stuff, just like from memory. Then number 19. Huff can vouch. We had a funny story for this one. This was one of the characters Huff was going to go for, but was told that he was told that I already did it on my roster because the order of characters I added on my roster is I added like the Mickey characters, like so Mickey through Scrooge, Maleficent, Beast, Aladdin and Genie, Jack Skellington, and then this character in that order was like my list of priorities. This was my first big bias pick. Can you drag out number 19?
Brother Bear, let's go.
I love Treasure Planet. This is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. Great character design, heavyweight, moveset potential is off the charts. He's got a plasma cannon. He's got like a sword built into his arm, like transforming arm with a lot of different functions. He's like his little peg leg has like a mine that he can drop out of it. There is a lot that you can do with this.
A little unmasking here because John Silver, like, first off, Creeks, fuck you. You took like 6 characters that I wanted to do. Go fuck yourself. Full transparency here. I'm not a big Disney guy, despite the fact that I love animation. You see all the IPs that you have listed right here, right? Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, and Mulan are the only ones I've seen.
This is why I was brought on.
Yeah.
Really aging yourself here.
I'm just gonna
when you grow up.
in the background. It feels really weird to not have any music going on like during this conversation because the audience has music. The music is not playing through like our Discord or anything. So I'm just gonna go in a tab and put Reviving Hollow Bastion on so I have some music.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
I just have random music on mine.
Yeah, I think like most of us, like if you don't have a music bot in Discord, like most of us have music playing in the background when we're doing stuff on the computer. Okay, then we got number 20. It's really funny having these characters back to back.
Oh, if you want music, I can put my music through Discord.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, two pirates back to back is really funny how that worked out. Although, so there is another character that would have been between them. I think I'm not sure where the dates on that are, but might have been between them if the DLC was arranged differently. But yeah, no, Jack Sparrow is like probably one of the most iconic Disney characters, like not only just live action, but just in general that they've created post the year 2000. Very charming. He's got, he's got a sword. He like has a musket. He fights dirty, throws things at people. Really fun character concept to work around in general, because you really just get to lean into the creativity of the pirate angle. And then speaking of a character that you have a lot of creativity with.
Oh, nice.
I was surprised that this wasn't on Spazzy and Nanton's roster because Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog is a character that I just look at and I immediately see fighting game potential. One of the best villains that they've created in that regard. He's got like the voodoo magic. He has the ability to control shadows, which would be a really cool idea for something like a platform fighter, like just for stage control.
He could have a command grab that just has your shadow grab you.
Yes, I think he would be a lot of fun.
We know what the final smash is, right?
Yeah, it'd be the song.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, it's literally him summoning the friends from the other side to drag you straight to hell.
Oh wait, I gotta get a gif.
It's that, or he turns you into a frog, and then he just like hits you, and you just go flying off stage.
Yeah, I briefly crossed my mind Dr. Facilier, but because the Princess and the Frog isn't that successful of a movie, I guess it's not that big one compared to some of the others. I ended up not going ahead with it.
Yeah. Number 22, another
about the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Number 22.
Check our DMs or the group chat.
We'll see what my scary, otherworldly, shadowy spirit friends have to say about that. Incredible. Yeah, no, Rapunzel just like obvious, just kind of like need to again like one of the bigger new things that they've had. Really successful movie, really successful television show. Hair has magic powers. The braids idea is like something, but what if I remember correctly from watching my buddy Bson play KH3, I've actually not gone around to it yet myself, because I only actually ended up giving KH a fair shot and getting into it like fairly recently. But if I remember correctly from KH3, like so she coils it up like a garden hose and just like has it wrapped around her arm, and it just like whips it out like a Belmont whenever she hits people with it, which I think is really funny.
Can she have the frying pan as like the axe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be perfect. And the number 23. So I was actually considering doing a different character from this movie for like archetype and moveset potential reasons, but I was told if you were doing a video game Disney crossover, you have literally no excuse not to do Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
So here's Wreck-It Ralph, big heavy guy, breaks stuff, throws bricks, not really a whole lot that you really need to go over. And then 24, another character that, so in any other roster, a character like this that is like an obligation would feel like an obligation, but number 24 also actually has some of the best moveset potential on this roster just because her powers are so cool and interesting, which makes it really lucky that she is like the shill character.
Bro, I love PK Freeze.
Well, we're assuming that this platform fighter would have actual mechanics that, function and not whatever Ice is in Smash Bros, where it, like, removes your ability to play the game for 5 seconds and sends you to another area code.
Just flings you off into the space.
Now, interesting, speaking of Smash Brothers, you can pull up number 25. Also, fun fact, there is no good renders for this character. I just used Aiden's icon.
Huh? Why did you segue like that? I'm so concerned.
So we were talking about the moveset that we could do for Judy Hopps from Zootopia, and we thought about it. It's like, okay, so let's say, so her neutral special would be like a stun gun, right? Like a taser would shoot a slow moving projectile that would probably briefly stun and do some damage, but not much knockback.
No, I love Zero Suit Samus.
Yeah. So and then. In Disney Infinity, they gave her like a jump forward because she's a rabbit that like she briefly becomes intangible and dashes forward. So that's the side special. Down special could be that she pulls her badge out like she's doing in that image. It reflects projectiles, and maybe the first frame that it becomes active, it pops opponents into the air. And
you can have a minor hitbox.
True, exactly. And so for her up special, I was we didn't have any good ideas, so I was thinking maybe she could use her iconic white woman pyrokinesis powers that all white women have, and just go surround herself in fire, or I guess pepper spray, and just shoot into one of 8 different directions. She could have a flip kick up tilt. It'd be great. There's no other character that plays like that in any video game ever.
And her super would be Landmaster.
Her super. Anyway, I'm being real with that. Number 26. We got to keep this show moving. Next one, yeah. So this is going to be actually a little interesting to Aiden because last time that he checked in with me, I had Moana on my roster.
Yeah.
And she was going to be kind of like a spear function, I guess. She would use the oar to fight, and because she has the ocean protecting her in her movie, she would be like, for lack of a better word, she would be a waterbender.
Mm-hmm.
But that character concept was actually initially because Moana was like, I was like, all right, we need Moana, and we already have a bunch of big characters, so I'll leave out Maui. And we had another character with a really similar moveset that I wanted to do more, but I was like, we have to have Moana, and I didn't have room for both. So, but when the DLC came in, I was like, okay, cool, I have room for both. I'm adding the other one. We're cutting Moana. We're doing Maui.
Mm-hmm. We swapped between having Maui to Moana to then not having either of them.
Yeah,
but we thought waterbending Moana was a cool idea.
Maui's got a lot to work with. Big guy with a weapon too. So big characters with weapons are actually fairly uncommon in a platform fighter. So that by itself is a lot of fun. Also very mobile for his size, and he can transform into animals, which is gives him a lot to work with. So for the base roster, this is it for core Disney. We're now moving on to Pixar and Disney TV animation and some other things. So with number 27 and 28, you can just drag both of them on here. They're a package deal. So the only franchise outside of technically Marvel, but there's a caveat to that I'll discuss later. The only franchise with multiple characters on... Somebody said needs Encanto. Before I was told I had to have Ralph, I was considering doing Luisa from Encanto as a grappler.
We had the same idea.
Yeah.
It's because I was there.
So, idea I'm kind of working with is, Buzz is based on Buzz Lightyear, the in-universe character. Obviously when he interacts with other characters, he, knows Woody and he talks to the other characters like he's Buzz from the Toy Story movies, but his moveset is based on Buzz Lightyear, the in-universe character that appears in the movies and games and stuff in Toy Story that the toy is based on. So he's got the blasters, he can, fly, all of the little hover belt that he has, the little projectile shield, all of the little gadgets that you get in the Toy Story 2 video game that are based on that stuff. Just the idea of what if Buzz was just real and all of his stuff was real, but Woody doesn't have that, as was mentioned last time.
I really like the sentence of, imagine if Buzz was real. God, what if?
The idea is
what
that
if?
Buzz Lightyear from the in-universe movie doesn't look like that. Don't worry. That shit has always been really stupid to me. It makes way more sense based on everything that has been presented in the actual Toy Story movies and the other content. If Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is what the Buzz toy is based on and not Lightyear. Lightyear is such a confusing movie.
Lightyear is the crappy live-action remake that Disney pumps out in 2020.
Oh my god, you're so right. You're so right. But yeah, no, and then Woody doesn't have that, so the idea was that Woody would, Woody just kind of fights like a toy, maybe he throws his hat, maybe he's got, what he does in Kingdom Hearts that I thought would be pretty, again, just pulling a lot from, KH, because it takes a lot of these characters that aren't really typically fighters and makes them work as RPG party members, is they use a lot with his cord, his pull string on his back. They have him use it as a lasso, which I think works really well for his characterization as a cowboy. So that gives him maybe that gives him a special that is a tether grab. It gives him a tether, up special, or maybe just a grab. So that gives him something. You can have him whip it around. The way that Woody also just moves around, the way that he walks with his arm and his leg going in the same way. He walks wrong. If you check the way he's animated, it is very fun. He moves around he moves around like a stuffed doll, essentially, which is what he is.
One of the
number...
ideas... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the ideas I've always had for Woody was he has a projectile, but it's from Toy Story 2. It's one of the memorabilia. It's the giant boot that has like a spring-loaded snake in it. So like his neutral
Yeah.
special would be there's a snake in my boot.
That's
It's like
really
the
good.
Firework from Isabel's moveset.
It's like the cracker launcher from Brawl.
Fire snakes.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
Yeah, number 29 next.
Who we got next? Oh, Sully and Mike. Nice icon. Creeks?
Creek.
Creek.
Oh no, has he died?
1 second,
We
actually.
lost him.
I'm gonna hold on. I have to check in my DMs for something.
Oh, okay.
I need to DM Slink something. Slink, is this an acceptable alternative? Okay, we're good. Anyways, yeah, no, so like Sully and Mike, obviously it's hard to differentiate because I think a lot of people wanted like Sully to be the main fighter when we brought up that, last time, on the previous roster when Mike was brought up, a lot of people were like, "Where's Sully?" When you have Beast and Baloo and I think another character actually a little later on, you have to kind of like work a little harder to differentiate a big fuzzy guy with claws and long arms. So the idea that I had was like, hey, they work as a part of a tag team like Tom and Jerry or like I guess Rosalina and Luma. Like the thing that just sold me is like I don't know exactly what the rest of their specials would be, but I thought of the idea of like that'd probably be something involving scream canisters and other stuff they use in the movie, but just like neutral special fastball. Like Sully just throws Mike at you. And I imagined that. I pictured it in my head and I was like, perfect. I don't need to think about anything else. I already know that I'm doing this. And number 30. Another thing from like the previous roster, Mr. Incredible being too similar to like Ralph and Beast was brought up and everybody was like, hey, what about Elastigirl? Guess I'm on the same page as everybody else. Here's your Min. Have fun on Quick Play.
I thought about Elastigirl, but I couldn't think of a good moveset.
We are moving into number 31 and 32, which are our Disney TV animation characters.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is Aiden's icon.
Yes. However, I want it to be known that I was not the one to decide on Bill Cipher. It was done before I got involved.
Yeah, so remember the list of characters I mentioned earlier? It was like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Scrooge, Maleficent, Baloo, Beast, Aladdin, and John Silver. Right after that was Bill Cipher, was like one of the first characters. I was like, yeah, I want to do this one. And the like, obviously, Perry makes so much sense. He's like one of the like. I feel like Disney TVA characters are exceptions because they usually don't get to appear and stuff like this. Perry was in the theme parks. Like, he has special precedent. And Bill is just like, fan favorite character from the show that basically kickstarted like the serialized plot with lore trend in not just like on Disney TV, but alongside Adventure Time, kind of kickstarted it on like Western children's cartoons in general. The trend that we've been seeing recently is like those two are kind of the forefront of that. Extremely powerful character. You can do literally anything with Bill Cipher's moveset and it works, which is extremely fun for like the concept of a fighting game moveset. Because I know that there are some people who are like, oh, when you have an extremely powerful reality warper that can do anything, they're too overpowered. How do you make them work in a fighting game? MVC has Shumagarath and Dormammu and has them use their powers in really cool and interesting ways, and they can get beaten by Chris Redfield within like in 1911. So
To be fair, though, that's Chris Redfield.
that is Chris Redfield with an M1911. Okay, well they can get beat by Beautiful Joe, who is Jobber.
Very true.
I'm so sorry to the Joe fans in chat. We're always making fun of Beautiful Joe around here. I have no hate in my heart against Beautiful Joe. I just like to roast him. So we have number 33 next. We're getting into like the miscellaneous Disney content for the last 4 characters in the base roster. It has to be Kermit, in my opinion. Like there's a very obvious case to be made that like Miss Piggy or Animal have a lot like more interesting moveset potential or work much better as a fighter.
Miss Piggy is the Ryu.
Yeah, but like I don't care what you have to do to make him work. It's got to be Kermit. Kermit is Jim Henson and like is the Muppets. Like that. Like it's to me he's like one of the biggest icons they have under their belt, whether they treat him like it or not. And so from here on out, we have a couple of interesting ones.
Oh boy.
So, can you drag out number 34?
No, I hold on. I seem to have made an error. 1 second.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
Wait, what's the caption say? Radio concert. Okay.
Kermit at the day, Kermit at night.
I made like 15 different like slots with different text for that. I had a lot of fun with I had a lot of fun. I was told I could not use the original one that I said Slink, so I was like, okay, I have like 14 others to pick from, and I just picked the second funniest, and it was Radiohead concert. Let's see here. Yeah, no. So got a couple of like funny ones for the next few. So big part of like Disney is typically what they use for a crossover like this is influenced by what kind of crossover it is, what audience they're trying to hit, and what they're kind of like going for. So I picked a couple characters from Disney, like video games and related media, because I imagine that as a fighting game that would probably be developed by people that like are like the Nick All-Star Brawl or Multiversus, people that are kind of in touch with the fan base and they are fans themselves and they know what people want.
Yeah.
There'd probably be a lot of people on that roster or a lot of people on that dev team that would want like Kingdom Hearts to be in there. Sora's got a lot of great moveset potential. You can see I chose the KH2 design because I always do for these rosters because it's the best one. But yeah, like everything he uses in Smash and much more that Smash didn't even touch on. Bunch of moveset potential, fan favorite character. At this point, a legacy character, the Disney video game character from a video game crossover. Just kind of works on a bunch of different levels. But he's not quite as funny as the other video game character on this roster. So can you drag out number 35?
Who?
Oops.
So
This is another one I wanted to do. Fuck you.
I was told that because Alice in Wonderland is obviously a really big thing for classic Disney, and I was like, we need to have it in here in some regard. Was that in Pinocchio? I really wanted to have Honest John from Pinocchio, but I decided on Robin Hood as the fox instead. So I was told I needed to have Alice in Wonderland, but I didn't like any of the options I was being presented with. I decided I didn't want to do live action Mad Hatter. Somebody else was already considering doing animated Mad Hatter, and I didn't like the idea of Alice. I didn't like the idea of the Queen of Hearts. So I was doing research into some stuff, and I was like, what would be something funny and left field? Like, was something like funny, like a left field weird pick for like one of my final character choices for the base roster. And I was like, how about something that appeals more to like the Japanese side? Because these are Western cartoon characters. Like they are obviously this is going to appeal to a very American and like maybe European audience. How about I go for something that's going to appeal to the East very heavily? And so I looked into like what they have over there because I know they have anime, manga, stuff like that. Are you guys familiar with Twisted Wonderland, a
Yeah.
mobile gacha JRPG that reimagines the concepts of classic animated Disney villains as handsome anime boys going to a magic college that studied to be wizards?
Of course. I actually think I might have heard of this when it first got announced. And then it left my mind.
Yeah, so like we were looking
it
into
hasn't
it.
left mine. It haunts me at night.
We were looking into it, and I found this, and I think Aiden immediately knew that I was like, I just decided upon seeing Twisted Wonderland that I was going to pick a character for. Like he saw it, and I started like hyping up the idea of like, dude, we should do this. It would be so funny. I could hear the soul leave his body. It was so powerful, and
like clutching the desk until like my thumbprints were ingrained into the wood, just going, "That's a great idea, Chris."
Yeah, no, but he's like, obviously, like I said, he uses some magic. He's got a staff. He wears. This man is dripped down to he's Gucci down to the socks. He's got all the drip on, including high heels, which could be used for some cool kicks with the boots. But also, like, yeah, no, so as far as picking which character, I looked into it, it's like, yeah, no. So Riddle is obviously based on the Queen of Hearts, which also, like, A, covers giving us, like, an Alice in Wonderland rep in a roundabout way, but B, he has a Nindoroid, and the first chapter of the game that you play is based around, like, Riddle and his faction of other characters that are based on the Alice in Wonderland content, but... this is definitely maybe one of the top 3 most interesting choices that I have on this roster.
I want you to know I'm very disappointed you didn't use his full name, which is Riddle, Red Young Master, Goldfish, Roy de Rose Hearts.
I'm sorry, I don't speak French.
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
And then last character in the base roster, some of you guys have probably figured it out. Yeah, it's Oswald. Here's your Toon Force character. He uses all, like, I mean...
He's
Mickey,
like the very
Donald,
mystic
and Goofy,
game
I
to watch.
imagine. Yeah, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, I imagine, would be a lot more based on their modern incarnations. Like, Mickey uses the classic design just because, like, that's the best looking render of him that exists. But I imagine he would have, like... I imagine he'd have the Fantasia stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He'd have, like, the Castle of Illusion stuff. He would have stuff from the classic shorts. He might have, the Kingdom Key. Like, why not? But, Oswald has... Like, he's just a straight-up Toon Force character. He's out here doing Looney Tunes nonsense. He takes his ears off and turns them into scissors and, cuts you with them for one of his aerials. Takes off his arm, throws it like a boomerang, it comes back to him, he puts it back on. Just using mad, just classic cartoon energy to differentiate him from the other, like, Mickey and Friends content that is sort of evolved out of the classic cartoon energy and into something different in the modern day. Which leads us into... the DLC, which I just have, like, all grouped together by company. We can just drag on the first 3 DLC characters immediately.
Yeah, all the Marvel ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically
I feel like
the same as us.
I feel like because like we're all gonna have, I think, 3 Marvel characters. I mean, Spider-Man and Wolverine, like Spider-Man and the X-Men, obvious, and then Iron Man is. Like, obviously, you need to have somebody for the Avengers, and to me, like, it was probably either going to be Cap or Tony, and Tony just has, like, so much moveset potential for something like this.
Fair enough.
And, yeah, no, like that's, like, really easy. All of these are characters, like, self-explanatory, pick self-explanatory movesets, which leads us into, like, the LucasArts, or the Lucasfilms characters, which is, can begin with, Darth Vader. Gotta have Darth Vader. Indiana Jones is another obvious one for Lucasfilms. And so, if I was a sane person, it would be Darth Vader and, like, Yoda, or Darth Vader and Luke, or even, like, somebody like Mando that gives us a non-lightsaber Star Wars rep. I am not a sane person. Our LucasArts characters from another franchise. So this is
nice.
LeChuck from Monkey Island.
This
That
was
is-
another
that-
one
that's
I
a pretty
wanted to
good
do
pick.
that I was told you were doing.
I am
Man,
sorry.
you have a lot of pirates on your.
I do have a lot of pirates on the roster. It is really funny. So I wanted a character from the LucasArts like video game content. Obviously, you can't do Sam and Max because that's owned by Steve Purcell. And it really just came down to, do I want to do Day of the Tentacle, or do I want to do like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, or do I want to do Monkey Island? And there's like one correct answer out of those, and it's Monkey Island. I wasn't going to do Guybrush because I don't know what Guybrush could do that Jack doesn't already do. Mm-hmm. So I decided on LeChuck, who, you know, he's got his voodoo magic. So kind of like, I guess, a combination and then some of a character like Jack and a character like Dr. Facilier. Just, you know, out here doing his undead pirate voodoo magic nonsense. And then we have our Fox characters. We can probably just drag them all out, you know, just knock them out one by one.
Who the fuck is this? I only know Kimmy Avatar.
Yeah,
true. So yeah, Natiri's here because I wanted like it's either Natiri or Jake Sully, and it was like I thought Natiri would probably just be more interesting than Jake Sully, just because. True. Because,
Zoe
like,
Saldana.
True, but I thought she would be more interesting because she is actually like a native to Pandora, and I feel like that just gives her like a lot more experience using the different like weapons, and I just thought that it would be like a more fitting choice than Jake would be. But she's really just here because I was told I needed to have an avatar, so here's your avatar rep. And then we have our good boy Manfred on here. So I told several people I was doing Manny as one of the Fox characters because I didn't know what else to do from them that would be like A, age appropriate, and B,
I didn't even realize Manny was a Fox character.
Work. Yeah, no, he's Blue Sky. You know, it's a Fox character.
Yeah, it used to be Blue Sky, which got closed, so the rights reverted to Fox.
I see. Okay, because I only knew it as Blue Sky, and I knew Disney had that.
Yeah,
so I was like,
I mean, Disney didn't own Blue Sky until the Fox buyout, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up, just gonna be honest with you. Fox is the company that we had the biggest issue with because, like, we brought up like fucking 40 choices, dude.
Yeah. A lot of my choices were either just like, it turns out they don't actually own it, or it's too similar to something else on the roster, or wouldn't have a good moveset potential. Like, what moveset potential are you going to get out of Modern Family? Don't answer that. I'm sure somebody's going to come up with something. But, like, I said multiple times, hey, I'm doing Ice Age, and they were like, cool, so are you doing, like, Sid or Scrat? I said I'm doing Manny. They're like, I had 5 separate people tell me Manny doesn't work in a fighting game. I was like, cool, figure it out. I don't care. I want a playable Mammoth.
Exactly. That's the attitude to have. Chris.
I want a playable Mammoth. I think it would be funny. Not my problem. And then so we have like, so the next 3 are like Disney and Pixar characters. These are, so the next 3 are when initially we were going to have 9 DLC characters. A couple days ago, we were told that we were going to have 12. Because Huff very rightly pointed out, hey, maybe all of our DLC, like maybe not all of our DLC should be stuff from like acquisitions. We should actually have some Disney characters in the DLC. So I just took the 3 characters that I wanted to have in the base game that I had to cut for like space or various different reasons, and put them into the DLC. So number 10 for the DLC.
Oh yeah,
as you have 7 minutes to live. Me and Aiden were like talking a lot about wanting to do Cliff because like we thought it would be like a lot of fun. Did not end up like having room for it in the base roster because I had to cut for other things, but ended up getting around to Cliff in the DLC, which made me very happy. Just another, like, I think late 80s, early 90s character, maybe, or maybe it's early 80s. I gotta be honest.
It's early 90s is the Rocketeer.
Yeah, exactly.
1991.
It always slips my, late 80s, early 90s character, which there's not a whole lot of. You get, like, he's got a jetpack, which is immediately, like, a really, like, fun concept. He's just throwing hands with people. He's got a pistol, like, he's got a Red 9 pistol. And it's, like... True. It's just like a fun it's the idea, I think, the aesthetic and concept of a character in a fighting game that is just based on like a 50s era pulp rendition of like a World War II superhero.
Mm-hmm.
That just makes him a lot of fun. So we get into like I mentioned there's another character that I hinted at earlier. So I wanted to have a spear user with a connection to water. When I mentioned that there was a character I really wanted to do that I had to cut for Moana, it was Kita. Kita was the character that I wanted to do.
I
just
don't know
because.
who this is.
So Kita is the princess of Atlantis from the movie Atlantis.
Okay.
That came out in the early 2000s from Disney. It is a very good animated movie, but was kind of a commercial failure. So this one is like, because this is like DLC, these are kind of like picks that are going up to the, going out to the hardcore crowd, I guess. But yeah, she has a spear. It's kind of like a weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a scalpel, basically.
Okay. Big knife.
And she's got a connection to water and very active, like proactive character in her movie. Very fun choice for something like this. Like I said, was a character that I wanted to do before I realized, right, if we do Moana as the Moana rep, that's probably stepping on the toes of being able to do Atlantis. But I got a chance to do it anyways, so it's nice how things work out sometimes. And then we have the last character on the roster, the last DLC character.
You told me you were gonna do Cusco. Fuck you,
Wally.
I was trying to find somewhere for Cusco to work.
I wanted to do Cusco, and Snazzy vetoed it. I was like,
I was told that I can't do it because you were doing it.
What are you talking about? I was considering it. I never did it.
Never committed to it.
I literally told you that I didn't have it on the docket anymore.
Yeah, and then I told you to do it anyway.
You should have just done it.
Okay, but
that's your own fault there.
Why don't you
told me I couldn't because you were doing it.
Why don't you just put it on your roster now before you go?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Too late.
But yeah, no, I really wanted a Wally rep because I feel like Wally and Eve would both fit really well into something like this. Initially, I was going to do Eve, and then I thought about it. I was like, okay, I've already got Bill Cipher, I've already got Belle. I have a couple characters already that are somewhat small flying characters that have projectiles. So,
But you realized you needed a Cars rep, right?
No, but let's not get into the car human war. We'll be here all day. But I was thinking about it, and Eve was the character that obviously stood out to me is oh yeah, that works really well in a fighting game. But I started thinking about how I would implement Wally, and it's okay, let's say he has a special where he can just dump out a block on the stage like Steve, and then let's say he has a special where he can it's a special that works like Bowser Jr.'s side special where he just revs forward on the treads. Maybe he's got a special where that works like Villager Pocket where he stores an item in his little box cavity in his chest. He opens up the door and then somebody shoots a projectile at him and he will absorb it. And as I started thinking about those ideas, I was oh, this actually works really well and has a bunch of unique concepts and applications that you can't get out of Eve. So I ended up going with Wally as the final choice on the roster, all things said and done, which is a decision that I made at 12:30 a.m. last night. So
it's a fun one. It's a fun idea. I like the idea of having him be a villager type. It's cool.
Yeah, somebody said Meet the Robinsons. Meet the Robinsons was mentioned during the discussion at some point, but I think it was brushed over, unfortunately.
Yeah, we didn't have Meet the Robinsons. We did think about Bolt, or at least I thought about Bolt.
Bolt is funny if you take the route that I kind of took with Buzz here and base him on the in-universe character of Bolt.
Mm-hmm. An actual superhero.
He also has the Bark Wind Box.
Yeah.
It's still the only movie I've ever walked out during.
All right, So that's Creeks down. So one more to go.
Yeah. Note, I was also 8 when Bolt came out.
Oh god. I have not seen it. I just know of the Wii game.
Oh, there was just a gas leak.
Ow.
So I just say I
so
walked
that's
out on it.
That's what watching Bolt was like.
Yeah.
It's all fuzzy.
Okay, Slink, just to speed this up a bit, you see group 1, like the first row that you got there, just reveal them all at once.
First 8 then, yeah.
Or first 6.
Oh, first 6. Oh, you've
okay.
done it like that. Okay.
Yeah, we have like a small little gap, and DLC is going to go on the right.
Oh, I see.
It just worked better for us. As you can see, we did something a little special with the font because we wanted it to stand out from some of our other rosters. We did the traditional Disney font.
Yeah, that's why you've been sending us all of the icons with the Disney.
Yeah,
font.
that's just the one that I had open. And out of these characters, we've already talked about 5 of them like twice. So Captain Hook is the only unique one to ours so far. So that's the one that we should probably discuss, Aiden.
Yeah,
Captain Hook was on Slinks, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Hook's just one of the all-time greatest Disney villains. I thought that, well, when we were discussing him, I kind of figured that, like, if we were to double up on certain movies and films, Captain Hook was one of the ones that I pitched alongside a few others that we didn't do, unfortunately. But Captain Hook is just, he's one of the most iconic Disney villains on top of, like, others, and I just feel like it's a fun moveset to play around with, especially if you do like a super or something where the crocodile gets involved.
No, it could be. I think it is an interesting one. Like, I would have. So it's just something that to bring up. Like, I didn't do any repeats on characters or series, and Creeks did one with Woody and Buzz on Toy Story, but otherwise, all of the characters are all from different properties.
Yeah, I think
you've immediately done Peter Pan and Hook together.
I unfortunately think that Hook might be the only like double dipper that isn't Mickey or I guess
see.
Toy Story.
Or another, Toy Story. Spoiler, but we just kind of went with focusing on, aside from like what is required, making fun picks of like this character would be fun to play as.
Yeah.
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 Similar like mindset to what I was going in with then.
It was very much like I was, well, kind of like I would pitch things and Huff would kind of reel them back in.
You say that as if the ones that I suggested weren't the weirder ones.
Well, no, listen, I embrace all the bullshit equally as much. I'm a very traditionalist when it comes to Disney, and there is certainly some picks that didn't make it onto ours that I'm passionate about, but there are a lot of picks on here that I will stand behind even more so.
Yeah. With that being said, let's start the next row with the first little goober, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So this is kind of a really modern rep, but it's been a huge fan request. We got a lot of comments about it. Yeah, that's right. Bleach is here.
Yeah.
Bleach from Bleach.
Ichigo Kurosaki.
No, his name's Bleach.
Oh, his name's Bleach. My mistake.
Tigger.
Yeah.
T-I-double-G-R.
Yeah. Out of the Winnie the Pooh characters, Tigger works the best as a playable combatant, and the notion of him being a stuffed animal works to his benefit, because then you don't have the issue of like beating up a Winnie the Pooh character. And we also brought up the idea that sometimes when you attack him, instead of like the fight sparks that come out, stuffing flies.
Oh wow.
I talked with Creeks about it too, because I grew up on Winnie the Pooh. I have so many mortal qualms about putting Winnie the Pooh into a game like this.
Yeah, that's why we avoided it on ours. Like, Tigger was the only one brought up because he was the only one that might work.
I
but
think
didn't
Tigger's personality of being just a scrappy little guy works to the benefit here. And like, Winnie the Pooh is the Animal Crossing of the Disney. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
We,
just
I think Tigger was the character we had the most discussion on because, like,
I think we literally
Should
spun
they?
a wheel and Tigger won.
yeah, we literally spun a wheel between Tigger and like 2 other characters. I'm trying to remember who the goobers were.
Both of them are here now.
Oh yeah, that's right. We made some edits. That's right.
So no mentioning them then.
Okay. Anything else on Tigger, or should we move on?
Not particularly. I mean, it's Tigger. He bounces. He pounces.
He does bounce, and he do bounce.
Yeah, I was considering it. It's like, yeah, it is a glaring omission for my roster, but I was like, I just refuse to allow anyone to punch a Winnie the Pooh character.
Shout out to,
Except for Christopher Robin, he deserves it. I played his home run derby.
My housemate suggested adding in Christopher Robin, but the live action adult version.
Yo,
where
Ewan
he's
McGregor.
yeah. And having that one on the roster instead.
Okay, just have one final thought on Tigger. Hear me out. His super is literally him scaring the shit out of you by bringing up heffalumps and woozles and trapping you in the fucking psychedelic elephant nightmare realm.
The elephant realm from Dumbo.
Yo, the jump scare.
Jump scare. I made that to fuck with Snazzy, but he ain't here.
That scared me as a kid too. That comes up in therapy a lot, actually.
All right, you want to reveal
Please
the
laugh
next?
at that.
Yeah.
Here comes the video.
Laugh, peasants! All right, you want to reveal the next funny little fella?
Beast.
Okay, I think we've
what
talked
a
enough
little
about
guy.
him. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
Genie.
Infinite moveset potential. That's kind of the
Yeah.
gist behind him.
I like how we went
Mini
from
roster
just
space.
Aladdin to Aladdin and Genie as like a tag team to just Genie as and the slots.
Yeah.
Aladdin has been phased out.
Creeks can vouch for this because Aladdin and Genie as a duo has always been my kind of vision on it, but I agree to Genie just because infinite cosmic power.
I
Yeah.
think the reason why I convinced you to do just Genie is because, like, Aladdin and Genie both have enough to make their own movesets interesting.
Yeah.
But if you do them together, you are hindering what both of them can do by having another character in it.
That's fair. I also just
yeah.
have the qualms with just everything involving Robin Williams and the Genie.
Yeah.
Makes it difficult for me to pitch the Genie as his own character. But Disney
That's why we should have made him Will Smith.
Ah, that's hot.
Yeah, live action one. Let's just make them all live action characters. Make it like a Mortal Kombat game.
They just added Genie to Disney Speedstorm, and they have a different voice actor for him. So, like,
I thought you were
I
going to
don't
say
thi-
Mortal Kombat.
they should.
Well, I mean, they've been using Dan Castanella, isn't it, for Genie?
I think the new voice actor is Jim Meskimen.
Okay.
But yeah, Homer Simpson does voice him in like the old cartoon and stuff.
Yeah, the old cartoon and Kingdom Hearts, both of them.
Okay, next one. We needed a Lion King rep objectively.
So that's.
Oh
what you
yeah,
did,
that's right, Sebastian.
so that's what you did, Sebastian.
I made that like 3 minutes ago. I already forgot. Yeah, we needed a Lion King rep, and I feel like this is just the one that has the most interesting moveset potential because, like, the other options are lions.
Yeah, I
they're just
agree with you
animals.
on this. If we were going to do more than one character per series, we had Timon and Pumbaa on ours as a second Lion King rep. Because they do have a very interesting moveset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Also, like-
Simba is just a lion, however, that makes him really funny.
Yeah, he's
I
literally
think-
just.
I know,
a lion.
it's just that he is just a lion, and that doesn't give him much. And since we went the route of Genie being himself, we felt like
Yeah.
Timon and
Timon and
Pumbaa
Pumbaa.
being a duo work.
They're also probably like the most iconic Disney sidekicks out of anyone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they can stand on their own very easily and have before. So yeah,
Yeah.
reveal. Honey, you mean Huncules?
Honey, you mean
Yeah.
Honcules?
Yeah, this
the first
was
person to have Hercules on the roster.
Yeah. this was our last choice, and our reason was because, like,
we have a character later.
Yeah, we have a character later that's like a good contrast, and also like if you once we're done with the roster, you can kind of notice that we just don't have a like traditional martial artist. So we just kind of
has a
filled the
sword.
role.
Well, yeah, Herc has a sword and shield, but it also allows him to open up sword and shield stuff for
Other people.
Yeah.
other people.
Mhm.
I think next row, but yeah.
Right.
Ralph.
Ralph is here as well.
Yeah, it's Ralph. I don't really have much to say on him because we've talked about
Yeah.
him 3 times.
Yeah.
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 Let me double check what's. Yeah, honestly, we might be able to just like
You just want to reveal the next
just
the
reveal
rest of this?
Yeah, just reveal this entire row. Honestly. Okay.
The girls row.
Yeah, the princess
the
row.
Princess row. We've all discussed Mulan, Elsa, Rapunzel, Maleficent, and Ursula, and why they just work in this setting. And Moana was one that was previously discussed too.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. No, they all make sense to be here.
Alrighty, I
But
think
Elsa's a queen, not a princess. God, get it right.
I think the next.
I mean,
two-
all queens are a princess at some point. Unless
techni-
hostile take over.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
doesn't
technically,
count.
Elsa's not a part of the Disney princess lineup. Technically, like because Disney treats Frozen as a separate thing. From
However, if we
Disney
consult
princesses.
classic Disney film, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Oh, such a classic. I love it when Twitter
I suppose. Yes, they did include
God,
it with the other Disneys.
was there. Twitter is in that movie, and that movie might have plot holes now because Twitter doesn't exist.
Oh no, plot
It had
holes
plot
in
holes
Ralph
before.
Breaks the Internet.
Yeah.
A
Movie has
about
gone down
Going
now.
Turbo
God.
after the last movie talked about how bad Going Turbo was.
Yeah. All right, you want to just reveal the next two because Yeah.
Woody and
Yeah.
Buzz.
wow, I'm shocked that they're here.
I'm
Who
assuming
the
you
fuck-
guys are going with like more or less the same interpretation I did, where Woody is the toy and Buzz is the character.
Yeah, a bit. Pretty much.
They're both toys, and they're both toy-sized.
True.
Compared to everyone else.
Okay.
And this is the most iconic Pixar character of all time.
This
You cannot
It's
debate
tr- It's true.
Huff pitched it to me when we were working in the DLC, and I said, okay, this is making it onto base roster.
it. I think my exact thing was, hey, I have an idea for something I really want to do, but I know you're going to hate it.
And I
And
replied
then you
with
said,
it, "Is
it's
it
the fucking
Pix-
lamp.
It's the Pixar lamp, isn't it?" And you said, fuck, and I said, no, don't worry, just put it on base roster, it's all good.
I'm like, am I that predictable?
No, it's... I'm imagining a combination of Rob and Piranha Plant.
Piranha Plant was my first thought. This is a very Piranha Plant pick.
He's got, like, obviously he'd had the Pixar ball as, like, a neutral special or something,
hmm
but you can also pull from, like, all the other classic, like, pre-Toy Story Pixar shorts. It's like there's, I think it's Red's Dream is the one with the unicycle.
Yeah.
But like maybe you could do an up special where he's on the telephone wire with all the birds and it launches him upwards. But there's probably a better option for the Super where he just like teleports you to the Pixar logo and stomps on you. But I'd love it if instead of that, he summoned the giant demonic CGI baby from Tin Toy.
Oh no.
Hey, Slink, while we're on the Pixar row, do you mind throwing in the joke one I sent you earlier? I sent you the same with Mulan. I sent it with Mulan.
Oh no, wait, hold on. I think I made a mistake. 1 second.
There he is.
Yeah, there.
There's the boy. The best guy.
Need a flying character on the roster to really break it apart.
Yeah, we needed some we needed a diversity hire here. All right, next up is the goat.
Hey, Mike.
I said that was the only way we're doing Mike, is if I could do that.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, it's needed to be that way. And you just want to reveal the next one too?
Sure. Yeah, Syndrome and... Well, let's talk Syndrome first because he's unique.
Yeah. we wanted to represent Incredibles. Elastigirl would have been the one to go with, and Mr. Incredible is just kind of boring. And Violet and Dash don't lend themselves to a fighting game, and Jack Jack is a literal 2-year-old baby. So we decided to go with Frozen.
Is his final Disney going to be him dying horribly in a jet engine?
Yes, it's going to be monologuing. And then getting devoured by a jet plane.
All because of the cape.
Yep. No capes.
Alright. I mean, yeah, this one. So this is one that I kind of talked with about Creeks too. We wanted to have some more modern stuff on here, and we kind of didn't get much chance to do it with the Disney side of things, like Walt Disney Animation Studios. Like we talked about Raya for a while, just because the whip sword is a cool thing, and she could be what Viola should have been. We talked about Encanto with Luisa, Isabella. I'm trying to think if there was any other ones, but we just wanted something to represent
the modern
stuff. Yeah.
like a 2020 film, basically.
Yeah.
So
We had that as well. We had Raya on our. We actually had Raya on our roster right up until like the very last moment, and then we sort of realized we didn't have a Little Mermaid character, so replaced her with Ursula.
So we went with Ember just because we don't have a fire character on our roster, and I feel like not only is that a necessity, but it also just like it's probably like the most popular Disney film since Encanto at the moment. So
This is going to be a little tangent here, because I haven't seen Encanto or the one with Ember in it, which Elemental, El Raya. But was Raya any good?
I
No.
heard that Raya was bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
'cause-
heard people say it's one of the worst movies they've ever made, and I tend to take that as code as they didn't watch the movie. Because whenever people say that, they usually didn't.
Because this is the thing, like, so I brought it up because I thought I hadn't seen it, but I'd seen like pictures of it and stuff like that, and I was like, well, this seems like it makes sense as a fighter that we could use and have a modern character. And Snazzy was like, oh yeah, but I don't think anyone likes Raya and the Last Dragon. And then I looked it up, and it's got mostly positive reviews. It got nominated for various awards. It's got like a lot of like I can't remember what it was on Rotten
more like
Tomato now, but it was
audiences-
pretty high on the Rotten Tomato score. If I remember.
It's more like audiences hate it, and so
93%.
I had not seen it because I just wasn't interested in it and don't care. Until like within the past 2 weeks, my little brother was home, and I decided to work on some stuff on my laptop because my brother and his girlfriend have been staying with us, and they've been staying in the room my computer's in. So whenever I work on stuff, I need to work on my laptop. So I was just sitting in the living room working on stuff on my laptop as it was being shown to my little brother, because they just kind of put on movies for him sometimes on Disney Plus. So I just sat there and watched it, and it is not good. It's not like bad the way that a lot of people say it is. It's like, it's not like it's terrible or anything. It's just not good. It's not really anything good about it.
I would also like to throw out there, nominations for awards generally don't matter for animation, because just to put this out there, most of the times the people that vote for them literally just vote for the one that they've seen, and usually they just go with the one that they've seen because they took their kid to it, and usually it's the Disney or Pixar one.
Okay, this is reminding me of the very funny situation where they put out merchandise for Ralph Breaks the Internet with the tag, the
Best Picture nominee.
Best Picture, winner.
Winner. Best Animated Movie winner.
And then they lost to Spider-Verse. They were not expecting that.
Wow.
I think the best way to put it with Raya, like, regardless of the film's quality, is that Disney fans look at Raya the same way Smash fans look at Byleth. Like,
Byleth or Corrin?
Yeah, but that implies that Raya is actually like really fun to play as and really cool.
Yeah,
And she
people.
would be.
No, she would be. She has a shit ton of moves. The
Okay,
thing is,
She does, but like
the difference is
so does
people
everyone
like
else.
Three Houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big difference.
Yeah, but that was just something I wanted to ask from people who might have actually seen it, because
Yeah.
we were just under the impression it was like a really bad film, but then it has like
It's-
a high critic and user review score, and I was just like, so was there just something about it that ticked off like the loud minority, or
It's just
is it like
not
what is
like-
this?
it's just like middle of the road for Disney. It doesn't
Right.
stick out like something like Encanto does automatically.
Yeah, it's just like there,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh shit!
It's
Slopes
like-
Game Room is in the chat.
Again, I saw it
Yo.
recently. It's fine. It's like a fine, serviceable movie. You can put it on for a kid and they'll enjoy it.
Mhm. Fair enough. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah, it's-
Yep. Mhm.
We wanted to do something a bit different because we assumed nobody would do this, and somehow you guys surprised us and actually did it. Now I'm disappointed. We decided to treat Disney Channel like animated series as if they fucking matter.
Yeah. Damn
So,
straight.
Yeah, you just want to reveal the first one. He's not really a Disney Channel character. He just fit best in the row. That's the only reason why he's down here.
Yeah, I mean, he did
I was
have a
gonna
really
say.
successful, like, long-running TV show and like
Yes.
free anime.
that was my Pokemon growing up. Like,
Yeah, like it is
Everybody
objectively known as a TV show. It's just he's not like explicitly a TV show character.
Stitch is
Yeah.
that character who just kind of slots in anywhere because he's just kind of
He's been in everything.
he's
Yeah.
been in everything. He doesn't necessarily associate with his movie as much as others because Disney will just use him for whatever they want.
Yeah, he just
There's
fit best in the row. That's
there's
the
a
only reason he's here.
manga where Stitch like travels back to like feudal Japan and becomes best friends with a samurai.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, Stitch is basically just like up there with Tinkerbell, where he's one of the big mascots for Disney, and they'll just do whatever with the character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Reboot them, throw them into a new situation, give them new crazy powers. Anything works.
He's just a little guy.
He is just a little guy.
All right.
Alright.
Goliath.
Goliath, yep.
Yeah.
We only did one Disney Afternoon character, unfortunately. But
We had more, but we ended up dropping them for other options.
yeah, to kind of get
So
a better
no
spread.
Scrooge.
We don't have Scrooge. That was one of the ones
Wow.
that we
Oh, first roster without Scrooge.
went
yeah.
back and forth on
I
a
forget
lot.
that Slinks.
Slinks also had Scrooge.
Oh,
Yeah. I think we said it was Scrooge or this next character.
Was it this next character?
I'm pretty sure it was this next one.
Okay.
let's see
And-
it.
Yeah. This is the only.
No,
This is
no.
one of the few older Disney Channel things that exist that they still use. Like they literally
Yeah.
made a new movie for it recently.
I think like as far as DTVA, like Disney TV animation, if it is not old enough to be retro, like the afternoon, the Disney afternoon characters are, or if it's not like something like Phineas and Ferb and beyond, and even then, really like only Phineas and Ferb and Gravity Falls are going to be like relevant of the stuff that hasn't been running for the last like 5 years.
hmm
This is going to be the exception. Like this is the one.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have a platypus. Yeah, front-facing Perry, of course.
Just reveal the next one too, because
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, Perry is just the exception if you have a Disney TV character at all.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill is Bill. Same deal as the genie, literally infinite cosmic power.
All right. Slink, can you check your DMs?
Ooh. Oh, okay, sweet.
Oh.
I can actually talk about this.
Finally, an
I'm-
Owl House or an
I'm
Yeah.
a hu-
character. Which one?
I'm a huge Owl House fan. I wasn't expecting to get the win on this, and I was very iffy on including it because anyone who knows about the Owl House knows how much Disney has completely thrown that show under the bus. They canceled their season 3 and turned it into three specials,
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
and it got completely thrown underneath the bus because Luce is a bisexual character and execs did not like that.
To put this out there, I really didn't get much I actually really care for on this roster, just because I don't really like a lot of Disney properties. I like Pixar, but a lot of traditional Disney stuff I just don't really care for. I like the Owl House. That's my character. That's the one I got.
I didn't want to like overstep my boundaries and be like, okay, this is what matters. So I tried to like not like let Huff have picks too, instead of just being like, okay, whatever. But it also nicely turned out one of the mobile games recently got the go-ahead to include Owl House characters, which I thought was just not happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I expected them to bury that IP.
And like they're doing it before they even have like Gravity Falls or Amphibia or anything else. Is Owl House got precedent over those?
Yeah, well,
So
Our
I
House
was
is
like-
just, it's popular. I think it's a hard one to ignore because it's actually like one of the few big shows that are talked about now. Like it was Gravity Falls and Star, now it's Our House and Amphibia. Like it's become that way because I'm sure Disney has other shows on there as well that people just don't really care that much about.
And also just like
to the same extent.
I love Luce. She's adorable. She deserves all the what is it? What was the quote? She deserves all the happiness. Is what Hootie says in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe it something along that line. Yes.
Yeah, but just it's a great show. Watch it if you have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do the final row then?
Yeah, let's just reveal the first three in a group because, like, yeah, Hannah Montana, of course.
Hannah Montana, of course. Yeah, you can't really do Disney.
You actually did Hannah Montana.
No.
I wanted to.
I was gonna say, we joked about it every time.
Oh, okay, it
that
wasn't
we were
bit,
doing
okay.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
wanted to. He wouldn't let me.
I don't think they're allowed.
Yeah.
They're probably not, but still.
I think they're really not allowed anymore.
So what is it?
That's
Just
funny.
the next three?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the live action bunch.
We were kind of hoping that we'd be the only ones with Mary Poppins, but
No.
Yeah, I brought up doing the Penguin for Mary Poppins because I thought it'd be funny.
but yeah, Tron, Jack Sparrow, kind of just the obvious ones.
Mm-hmm. The obvious live action picks.
Yeah,
And Mary Poppins is just fun. And then Jack Skellington.
Yeah, Jack is Jack. Like, what the fuck do you want from us? Yes, he's gonna be here.
All right.
Yeah.
The miscellaneous section.
Am I cool to take the reins and talk about the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sweet. Fuck.
So, of course, we needed to represent the Fox companies in some way, and I fucking love Futurama. That's one of my favorite series. And remember that episode where Bender sells his body to Richard Nixon?
Yeah.
Same idea, except for Walt Disney did it.
I was wondering whether or not someone would have the balls to put Walt Disney on the roster. Like, as a secret character.
Where's the icon?
There we go.
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, I'm wearing a shirt right now that says, I appreciate the Muppets on a much deeper level than you. Colin can vouch for me. I'm a huge Muppets fan. There was never a timeline where the Muppets were not making it onto this roster.
Yeah.
And the pitch I have for them is one that I've had for a long time, and it's just like, it's my favorite pitch on this roster, honestly. So, the Muppets' whole shtick is that they are like a found family of actors and weirdos that all stick together.
Mhm.
So my line of thought, and this might be kind of cheesing it a little bit, but it is very much in the vein of something like Pokemon Trainer. What we
See.
have is we have Kermit the Frog in the background, sitting in a director's chair, holding like a little megaphone, and you're swapping between three separate Muppets. You're swapping between Gonzo, who is kind of like the Squirtle, is very fast and speedy, does a lot of dumb acrobatic tricks and stupid
Side
stunts.
special shoots himself out of a cannon.
Yes. Like summons a wave of chickens or something.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Your middle Ivysaur is Fozzie, who's a zoner, throws cream pies at you, gets the hook and lifts him up for his up special, slaps you with a rubber chicken. And then when you really want somebody to die, you select Miss Piggy, who is the hard-hitting, like, she's the Charizard. She is hard-hitting. Just all of her things are like hard-hitting karate attacks. She has like a dive kick. She's just... It'd be funny if she had a Hadouken. I don't think there's a space, but
Yeah.
she is your Shoto. And she will completely rip it apart. And like the whole gimmick is you're swapping between scenes and like constantly improvising on the fly because your show's going awry, like it's the Muppets.
Yeah, that's a
pretty good idea. Yeah,
Pokemon Trader is perfect for Kermit.
Yeah, I really like the because that was the problem I had with Kermit, just trying to think what to do with him.
He's the guy. You can make him fight, but I like him better as the guy who has to somehow command all of these weirdos and get something out of it.
Yeah, it works quite well.
And then I guess the final character, we can reveal it. I was kind of hoping I'd be the only guy that had him, but
I told you Spazzy was gonna do it.
He's back.
He's back.
Put him back in the cryo chamber.
Live and learn.
God, I love screaming, but I never
All
know
right.
if it gets picked up.
Figment,
Oh, it gets picked up. Don't worry.
Good.
my animated little friend.
Yeah.
I told Huff when we started, I'm like, listen, there are two characters that I care about more than anybody else on this roster. And that is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Figment. And it tore me apart not to include Oswald, but I stuck with Figment because I feel like representing the Disney parks is incredibly important. And also, like, he's a fan favorite.
Yeah, see, I didn't know who Snazzy had to explain to me who Figment was, but I didn't really like after finding out and like just sort of doing a quick like cursory bit of research. I realized that they use him quite a bit.
No, so I can
like
vouch.
recently anyway. Yeah.
I went to my parents were Disney. My parents indoctrinated me into the Disney cult early. They had their honeymoon at the 25th anniversary of Magic Kingdom. So for their 25th, we went to Walt Disney World for the 50th. And during the festival, they had Figment popcorn buckets. And I shit you not, the line for the Figment popcorn buckets was longer than most rides. Like, it was in Epcot. I'm trying to think of like what the most popular ride in Epcot is. Like, probably like Mission Space or one of the other rides. Those are normally like, 2-hour wait at most. This was a 4-hour line for a popcorn bucket with like
Jesus.
off-brand caramel corn inside. But because it was in the shape of a familiar dragon,
Everyone was going after it.
we got on the monorail and there was a family that had 7 of them, and I was like,
Jesus.
it's taking all my strength not to just reach over there with like a scissors and just like snap the thing and take it. But Figment's a big deal for Disney fans, so I was like, we need to have at least one big, like, hardcore Disney fan pick. So we got Figment on here.
So I've seen people talking about the side being empty. Yeah, that is where we're putting DLC. We just wanted them split off a bit, just so people would be able to tell. Those are downloadable. So Slink, you want to just reveal the next 4 as a group? I don't think that we have anything to say about any of these. Like, these are the 2 Marvel characters you should do, and those are the 2 Lucasfilm characters you should do. Like,
they make total sense. I mean, I obviously went for Avengers instead of Iron Man.
Well, Iron Man
was
is
a Captain America instead of Iron Man. Sorry, I meant to say. But
Iron Man is
Iron
the
Man
face of the MCU still, so
no, it makes sense. So I just did it because it felt like it was clashing with Baymax and Rocketeer.
Yeah, we originally had Thanos on here for a big villain, but it just looked weird having 3 Marvel because you see how it's formatted. It just looked weird.
Yeah. But yeah,
so we just ended up swapping them.
They those all make sense. Those are all the picks.
I guess the next two.
No, just reveal the next one.
Next one, okay.
Yeah, Neytiri, of
Pearl
course,
from
iconic.
Avatar.
What? Sally Avatar.
Of course,
Sally
with the
Avatar.
other princesses.
This bit gets less and less funny every time we do it.
What bit? Anyway,
I stand by what I said.
All right, now we have the most important Fox.
True.
Peter Jiffin,
God.
big fan. If you want to show off the next image, please.
You killed him.
Look out!
I can't believe Huff died. Damn.
Peter, look out! Oh no!
Jover.
No, there's the Peter we know.
That's all
Quick
that's left of
story
him.
behind that one. I was making an icon. I just dragged the image in, and it just spawned like that. I just laughed too fucking hard to not do it. So yeah,
There we
the
go.
real choice.
We had Bart to start with, but we both kind of decided that Homer was the funnier and more interesting pick.
dude.
Yeah, we originally had Bart because he has more moveset potential and he's more well known. But I was like, I'm the Simpsons guy. Out of anybody in the call, I'm probably the person who likes the Simpsons the most. Of course, I'm doing Homer.
Dude, is this Treehouse of Horror? Did Homer just fucking eat Peter Griffin?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
He
no.
committed vor.
Just
no.
as my fanfiction said.
Stop
Just
that.
as
Just
the
stop that right now. I'll
scriptures-
get the spray bottle.
It's just as the scriptures foretold. And there's Wally. You know, continuing
Yeah,
on
you
the Pixar.
Oh. Mhm.
Well, we know who shot Mr. Burns.
It was the baby. And if you want to
All right.
reveal
so,
who he's holding hostage,
Quick. They were
He's got a
asking me
gun.
about Wally, and I said, okay, but give him a gun. I had no reason. I just wanted him to be holding a gun. I cannot explain to you why. This is funny to me. But it is.
I think my favorite part about it is I didn't even bother making a normal Wally one. I didn't bother. I just made the one with the gun. That's the only one I have.
It's a bold choice.
There we go.
He's holding her hostage. Oh no!
No.
I think my favorite
Wally,
part
no.
about it
This
is
is
I
the
didn't.
second worst thing to happen to her.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that the fucking didn't even notice I put Wally next to her, and I forgot the gun was there,
Oh, no.
and I just saw it, and I'm like, that is so fucking funny.
But yeah, May, she was initially on the base roster until we booted her to have Luxo Jr. the Pixar lamp.
We needed the lamp.
Okay.
So
Needed that lamp.
yes, we did. We 100% needed that lamp.
Mhm.
But it's just a fun concept and is a new character.
Mhm.
So we wanted to.
Yeah, a lot of moveset potential as well because they you know, they turn into Big Panda. So
Yeah.
all right, if you
My name's not Lyle. I can't turn on the TV. Okay, next character.
Yeah, I saw people complaining about it. Shut up, we did it.
Yep, Amphibia. Second,
Okay.
love Amphibia. I'm a huge fan of specifically season 2 because I think that's the best one out of the 3 seasons. So I'm hoping that we can. Well, I don't know how much I can say without like spoiling shit. I'll just say that I don't want her to just use the tennis racket. We'll use what she'll go Ultra Instinct, we'll say.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really. Yeah, this is why we couldn't add Kuzco last minute, because we went with a more interesting and fun idea.
Yeah.
Also, I love that icon. The idea is Kronk is just like the traditional fighter, and Yzma is on his back throwing out potions and such.
That's such a good idea. It's such a good concept.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Well, there's a scene in the movie during the chase where they literally have wings come out of the little tent in the back and like flap upwards and lift them up. I'm like, okay, well, there's the recovery. And it's just like, it's the most fun dynamic in the entire movie.
Yeah.
There's a reason why when they had like a direct-to-DVD sequel, they made it about Kronk.
What was it? We were choosing between Kronk and Yzma last minute and doing Ratatouille.
Yeah, or Remy and Remy
Yeah, Remy
on
and
top
Linguini.
of Linguini. That's his name.
Yeah, and have him just be like jolted around by the rat in his head.
Yeah, we had a lot of things that we just put on a wheel and decided to roll it.
Spin.
Yeah. And like some of them were like Remy, I believe Hercules was on there and that's how he got on. Same for Tigger. We had Krusty the Clown and like Mulder and Scully from X-Files, Thanos, a bunch of other options. Like we went over a lot. Yeah, Oswald and Pete were there too. Also, I see Slub's Game Room talking about Walt Disney.
Hello, did you not see that we had Super Waltz?
Yeah, we had 2 Waltz.
Bring Super Walt back on for another encore.
Base Super Walt.
Don't forget about Walt Bender.
But yeah, so in case it didn't, so we have 2 Marvel, 2 Lucas, 2 Fox, 2 Pixar, then kind of like a little Disney area of like 1 traditional character and 1 TV character. The next 2 are unique mediums each that we decided to kind of add on to. I guess we can reveal the first guy. Hatbox Ghost. Okay. So Haunted Mansion is my favorite attraction at any of the Disney parks, and I knew from the start that I wanted one of them on here. Creeks can back me up on this. I had a pitch very early on for...
Oh yeah, like we were talking pretty consistently about the idea of doing The Bride, but I was like, that's such a like I would have never thought of that on my own. That's such a you idea that I don't want to do that on my roster.
So for those of you that haven't ridden the Haunted Mansion, you enter an attic and there is we'll just say an axe murderer bride, basically, who is sitting there with her heart beating and she's holding a bouquet that transforms into an axe before your eyes. And it's implied she, killed all her previous husbands and everything. So I just thought, like, a ghost bride with an axe that would, like, toss bouquets that explode in your face and trap you in a ring that, like, makes you stay close to her. Stuff like that is just fun for a fighting game. But for this, I went with Hatbox Ghost because he's the most popular ghost in the group. Like, they're adding him to the Magic Kingdom version of the ride later this year or early next year, I think.
Why is he why is he the popular one?
Because what happened, he was in the opening version of Disneyland. And what it is that his whole gimmick was that his head would disappear from his shoulders and appear in his hat box that he's holding.
Okay.
Effect did not work whatsoever when they opened. So he was kind of just he was removed and he kind of became like an urban legend kind of deal. Disney made merchandise to, like, feed off of all the fan hype.
The actual ghost for the haunted house.
Yeah, the ghost that wasn't even in the ride, but they made merchandise for it. So, like, I know when Guillermo del Toro was doing a Haunted Mansion movie, he had the Hatbox Ghost as the main character. So eventually Disney said, hey, let's actually include this character in the mansion. They added him in Anaheim, and he's been, like, the fan favorite ever since, and was the main antagonist of the recent Haunted Mansion movie, played by actual real-life villain Jared Leto.
True.
And I didn't even realize that movie came out. Was it any good?
No.
No.
I have not watched it yet. I was holding off on it because I've not heard good things, and also Jared Leto.
Yeah. Seems like a kiss of death.
On the other hand, Owen
movies.
Wilson and Danny DeVito, so it could be good. I had to sit down and watch it actually. And then we got the final spot, which
If you
I hope
just
it's Michael
edit out
Eisner.
every scene with Jared Leto in it, it's probably good.
Problem is, he's the Hatbox Ghost, and that's the
That's
whole
not
reason he's
Michael
brought up
Eisner.
for this.
The last slot we found, remembered that Disney owned a publishing company, so we decided to represent it with its most well-known IP, Pigeon, from hit books such as The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog, which is a real book.
Great.
And they're just well-known. They sold a lot of books. They're just popular.
Fantastic.
Percy Jackson.
Okay.
This was one that we had to double check that Disney fully owned. Disney owns the books for it. They published them. And then not only, well, they acquired the movie rights through Fox. And now they're making a different version for Disney Plus that has the original author involved. But Percy Jackson is a Disney character.
Aiden,
which-
I am genuinely mad at you for not telling me that they owned Percy Jackson, because he would have been on my roster.
Yeah, it was. What happened was that we were discussing it, and then we thought about it, and I was like, well, this is a perfect pick because it is a book character, and we had to retroactively add Hercules to the roster so that we could make it so that the son of Zeus can fight the son of Poseidon. We thought that was a major draw. And it was just like, I grew up reading the Camp Half-Blood Brooks. I can't speak. I'm sorry. But I just thought Percy Jackson was like a perfect pick for to end our roster on.
It's certainly not one I had on my radar at all. I didn't even think about Disney books, to be honest.
But no, it's one of those picks that like you don't think of Disney immediately, which is why we thought it was a good one to end on. Because it's a big name, just not one associated with Disney, but it's fully Disney, which surprised us.
Yeah. To put it in perspective, I did so much research into this because the research portion of roster building is my favorite part. I've looked into so many things that they own, including like random animes that they have the license to, like random movies that they had at one point. Like I found out so much weird stuff about it. Like for instance, me and Aiden made a big roster for like a Smash-sized one because that was a Patreon request that was provided to the channel, and we just decided to take it on and just make one. And one of the characters that we did on that didn't make it onto this one because we just didn't have room for was hey, did you know that they own Bill from I'm Just a Bill, the Schoolhouse Rock?
Oh, no.
Because they own that.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, they own
What?
Schoolhouse Rock.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know if we just want to like.
Yeah, is that what's on the screen right now? The
Yep.
84 roster.
I guess
Yeah,
we
this
can
is
just
the big one.
Yeah.
let's just rapid fire. Like we don't even need to really explain things. We added Pete, Scrooge, Chippendale, and Oswald.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mad Hatter was originally on the roster. We dropped him last minute for Herc.
We did Aladdin and Genie instead as a combo and added in Jasmine because Jasmine, for some reason, is the character that appears the most in Disney video games, more so than Aladdin himself. Like she has appeared in as many Disney games as Goofy.
Yeah, really weird.
We added Scar because we wanted to do one of the lions, and we just thought Scar was cool.
Yeah, Dr. Facilier was directly
Another
below
one.
it.
Yeah. Then we added Baymax, Judy, King Louis was another one.
Yeah, Long John Silver as well.
Yeah.
From Creeks' roster. Fuck you, by the way.
Yeah.
Flubber.
One of my favorite choices that we did was Flubber.
We thought about Flubber as well.
Yeah, Flubber's he's just a
Funny
funny
one.
little guy.
Yeah.
We added the Rocketeer too. Bill Nye the Science Guy, like I said before.
Yeah.
Davy
Davy
Jones and Hannah Montana.
the most iconic pair of villains.
Gosh, what else?
Yeah, we Star and Jake Long were
Star and
added
Jake
to
Long. You're welcome, Josh. I got Jake Long on here.
I was the one who brought it up.
I know, but I enabled it.
Yeah, Elastigirl joins Pixar along with everybody's favorite character, Bing Bong.
Who's your friend who loves to play?
Everybody loves Bing Bong, am I right?
We added Yoda and my favorite, Dave.
Dave the Stormtrooper.
I literally looked up named Stormtroopers and Dave was one of them. So
I just love the idea of a Stormtrooper as a playable character in a fighting game. And like the neutral special is a blaster that just fires sporadically and it's never at the same level or like height.
It never hits also.
It doesn't do knockback.
You literally cannot land a hit. The next one's my personal pick. Manny from Grim Fandango and LeChuck from
Nice. From Monkey Island.
Where did you guys get that render for LeChuck?
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
Okay, I should have looked at that for my roster.
And then we brought Bart back, and of course Peter Griffin.
We did.
Yeah,
we did X-Files. Mulder and Scully are alts of each other.
Yeah, Kevin from Home Alone.
Home Alone.
As a trap character.
Nice. Xenomorph in the Predator.
Alien and Predator.
And then, everybody's favorite character, Avatar from Avatar. That one's my favorite pick right there.
Guy from Free Guy.
Yeah, I love Free Guy. That movie is so fun, and I think he offers infinite potential here.
And then I just want it to be known.
You also did Riddle.
Yes. Creeks previously had brought up Riddle, and we explained that whole story of how I was just sitting there just like, oh yeah, that's great, man.
I feel like he either got used to the bit or like grew on it over time.
I think it's funny.
Let's be real, it's more of a me bit than it is a you bit, so he was probably more accepting of it. Because the name of the guy is Riddle Red Young Master Goldfish Roy DeRuse Rose Hearts.
Independently, in a separate voice chat, Huff and I were kind of dishing out things for the roster, and there was another person there. And then Huff's like, hey, have you ever heard of Twisted Wonder World or Twisted Wonderland? I'm like, oh no. And then he landed on Riddle and read the full name. He was like, can we add Riddle Rosehart to the roster as like a unique character that nobody else will pick? And I'm just sitting there sweating bullets.
And you were just like, Creeks already picked it like 24 hours ago.
Yes, and then Huff said, okay, let's double down on it then.
Just like check the chat because I just posted.
I love it's more of a me bit than a you bit, and then I did it first.
Who else did we all have? Yeah.
That's his full name. It is unreadable. This is so stupid.
Who else do we all got on here? Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah,
Captain
we
Marvel.
added Sora. I don't know if we touched on them.
I mean, it's Sora.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, Wolverine, and Captain America and Thanos joined Marvel. Scrat from Ice Age, Bill from Schoolhouse Rock, because why do they own that? Yeah, we brought up so many things random and obscure that they owned that we just weren't able to do on the small one. That's why we decided to go ahead with the big boy.
Okay, I saw one mention Roger Rabbit, and that is in the same legal gray area as Tarzan, which is really unfortunate because I've made several icons for Roger Rabbit stuff and I'd love to do it. It's just Disney has to pay Steven Spielberg anytime they use Roger Rabbit, which is why unless it's like the budget is going directly to that cameo, they don't use Roger Rabbit at all.
Yeah, so I'm pretty content with these rosters. I think we did a funny job.
I gotta say, I'm actually very happy with the rosters altogether. I was surprised more than a few times. I'm still riding the high from seeing Henry from Country Bear Jamboree.
I'm glad we could have started off strong.
It's got to start with the funny.
Because the fact that that icon got used beats the world.
I
still think
Snazzy to thank for fucking reminding me that the Country Bear Jamboree is a thing.
I still think my favorite thing about any of this is just the Wally icon next to May.
Yes, you can suggest rosters for the poll.
Yeah.
We
Well,
ask for requests every week, and nobody ever puts them in the comments. So
I mean,
you
they
can
sort
tell
of
us
just
now.
go ahead, to give us a request. Although what we do as we do every week is put these rosters up onto Twitter, and then
vote to
people
see
can
who
vote
you
on
like the
it.
most.
Yeah, and then the winner of that vote will get a bigger decision over what the next roster what's going on the roster list for the poll. Although we were talking about this the other day, and I think the next roster stream is going to be slightly different from the ones that we've done previously, like formatted slightly different. There's a reason for that, but we can't quite announce it just yet, not until plans are in place proper. But suggest stuff, and we can put it in for the roster stream after the next one.
All right.
But yeah, just want to throw that out there. Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network roster, like a Marvel vs. Capcom, but
somebody
cartoons.
asked for Nick, just like I think Nick also.
Yeah. Somebody said Nick All-Stars Brawl.
So Squid Sushi asked for indie game Smash Star crossover fighting games. So something like Fraymakers.
Yeah,
indie game
Indie
is
Pogo.
something that like consistently gets brought up. Not even just like because we don't just do these for for you guys for the streams. Doing rosters is also like something that a lot of people in our friend groups just kind of do like on their own, just when we get bored. And indie is something that gets brought up pretty consistently. But the issue that you always run into with it is the definition of what indie is so like varied, and there is so much to pull from and work with.
Yeah. Indie is no longer a term to denote an independent developer. It's a buzzword because think about it like this. Way Forward is a pretty decently sized company for a indie developer.
Yeah.
Falcom is a Japanese developer that has been around since the NES era and has a couple big series such as East and Trails.
Yeah, under their belt. Less employees than Way Forward.
Way Forward is about like 6 times the size. Despite and they are considered indie and Falcom is not.
Way Forward
is not a thing.
Way Forward shouldn't be considered indie because they frequently get handed like big franchises to work with on like a platter these days.
Yeah, it's because Way Forward could have been considered indie back in the day when the term was first being thrown around.
They were indie back in the day.
But they're not anymore. They're not anymore at all.
Yeah,
it's an interesting question because like indie is no longer, hi, I'm Pixel, and I made the entirety of one of the greatest video games of all time, Cave Story, in like my room on a computer in 2003. It is now we have a studio of like 50 to 60 people, but we don't have a big publisher behind us.
Yeah. Even Shantae has a publisher now. It's not indie anymore.
If your character has a Funko Pop, you can't be called indie anymore. I'm sorry.
Minecraft Steve was like originally an indie character.
Yeah, like a lot of big characters that are like quantified as indie or were indie at one point just objectively aren't anymore, like Ori, Cuphead,
Shovel Knight,
Minecraft,
arguably.
Shovel Knight. Because I think we could do a indie roster one. I mean, it's certainly one to put on the list because it's such a popular choice. But we'd have to really sit down and think like establish what the rules are.
Establish like, hey, does Springtrap count? What about anything that has a publishing deal with Nicholas? What about like
it definitely seems to be, I mean, in all those indie fighting games you do see, it does seem to be the extent of it kind of depends on how open the company is to working with stuff. Like the reason you don't see Shantae in any of like these indie fighting games is because Way Forward, they treat it like it's their property. Obviously, they're not that open to working with everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas the reason you see Shovel Knight everywhere is because club games are perfectly willing to throw Shovel Knight
Yeah.
into literally
So-
anything.
I'd say it like this. Maybe I shouldn't say it like this, but the general energy around Shantae is that WayForward really wants to be treated as an indie company until that means that they have to associate with other indies, and then they're no longer interested in that because WayForward likes to punch up.
You can't bark with the big dogs and then piss with the puppies.
So I was just DM'd this to bring this up. At the Golden Joysticks, there was one game nominated for the Indie Awards. Dave the Diver. That's fully owned by a AAA developer.
That's
Yep.
a Tencent game, yeah. Or is it
Uh,
Nexon?
Nexon. It's a
Nexon.
Nexon game.
Yeah, the Dungeon and Fighter company that makes the South Korean like online brawler game Dungeon and Fighter. Anybody that doesn't know or is only familiar with that game through DNF Duel, the fighting game spinoff, top 11 highest like grossing video game franchises in the world. Money printer.
Yeah. So I guess this is the thing, isn't it? Because like Dave the Diver, the reason I think people think of it as indie, other than just the way it sort of its general vibe, is because its developer Mint Rocket are also its publisher, and Mint Rocket is not a company people know, but Mint Rocket are a subsidiary of Nexon. So it's technically Nexon, but they don't brand themselves as being Nexon. And that's why people consider it indie. A lot of the time, it is just people's perception. This obviously has nothing. This one has technically something to do with indie games, but also not. But when like Among Us was nominated for the Game Awards, because everyone assumed it was like a 2020 game when it was like a 2018 game. But no one had fucking heard of the game until it started being popular on streams 2 years after it released, and then suddenly it was like Indie Game of the Year nominee, and it's like, what the fuck? This isn't a game from this year. It all comes down to how much research people even think about doing into this, which is usually not a lot.
Figuring out what an indie game is in modern day is like playing a game of Calvin Ball. The rules
Yeah.
change every 5 minutes.
So we could do an indie one, but I would like. It would be something that we would have to sit down and discuss behind the scenes. Like, all right, what are the actual rules here? For we'd have to really establish what our limits are. But yeah, it's certainly one that could go on the pile.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas, and as a group, we've done a lot prior that just we haven't done a stream for, and we could always pull from some of those because we had I think one of the ideas that we had in the past that just never got off the ground was you know how we did Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah.
There was an idea about doing DC versus like Sega or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The one that Snazzy brought up was Image Comics versus Konami, right?
Oh yeah, that was another one too.
Image versus Konami is still really funny.
Yeah, that one also just works.
I hope you like Spawn characters versus Castlevania characters because you're going to be getting a lot of those.
Reminds me of like all the alternate timeline Kingdom Hearts where it's like Bugs Bunny is a phantom thief with Joker from Persona.
We need a Kellogg's fighting game roster.
You remember,
do that at
like,
some
a
point.
couple years ago when somebody was trying to meme up the idea that there was this, like, fake leak going around that Nintendo wanted their own version of Kingdom Hearts and they were working with the Looney Tunes?
Yeah, I remember that leak. So goofy.
Well, no, it wasn't Goofy. That's Disney.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I was waiting for that. I knew that was coming.
You shouldn't have said.
Easy setup. All right, I think with that, I think we should start wrapping up.
Yeah.
It's 7 p.m. for me now. Past 7 p.m.
all right.
I want to have dinner.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. As always, you can leave a comment down below to request a stream for us to do. It really helps if you leave a comment because not only does it boost our engagement, but also it's much easier for me to find the stuff that you want in the comments. There will be a poll posted a couple days from now on what roster we're going to do next. And as always, if you enjoy our content, you can support us on Patreon, like all of these lovely people on screen right now. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and always remember to return to the source.